Yes.
Sama na.
Office. The Division of Davao Sur follow the safety precautionary measures like, of course, wearing this mask while having an interview, and then all the sanitation, the temperature check, the log sheet for the contact tracing.
Mahigit 700 aplikante ang inaasahang dadalo sa pakikipagpanayam para sa mga bakanteng posisyon. Inilahad din ni Ginang Elvira Delfino na may sinusunod ang sangay ng Davao del Sur sa proseso ng pagtanggap.
700 plus. Then naatay DepEd order, no? Nga wala pa tay RQA karon, ipa-utilize tong old RQA. Mo to i-follow usa samtang wala pa tay RQA.
Para sa karagdagang impormasyon, maaari lamang bisitahin ang official Facebook page ng DepEd Tayo Davao del Sur at DepEd Davao Sur Human Resources. Para sa napapanahong impormasyon, Kirk Sanhil P. Heruela, Davao Sur News Beats.
De Luna,
Present!
Herrera,
Present!
Valera,
Present!
Handa ba tayo sa school year 2020?
Present!
Ngayong taon, ang edukasyon tuloy pa rin. Sa tulong ng DepEd, mga guro at mga magulang, ang handang isip, handa bukas. Tuloy-tuloy ang pag-aaral. May mga lessons para sa iba't ibang antas. Sa government TV, maging sa radyo. Mahalagang ligtas ang ating mga estudyante at guro. Kaya kahit nasa bahay, tuloy ang edukasyon. Kung tulong-tulong, may paraan, may aralan.
Handang isip, handa bukas.
Bisitahin ang DepEd Philippines sa Facebook at ang deped.gov.ph.
Isinagawa ng DepEd Division of Davao del Sur ang Division Orientation on the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan sa loob ng 8 araw mula July 8 hanggang July 17, 2020. Mahigit kumulang 600 katao ang dumalo sa nasabing pagtitipon na dinaluhan ng mga taga-Masid Pampurok o Public Schools District Supervisors, punong guro sa Antas Elementarya at Sekundarya at mga pangulo ng Parent Teachers Association or PTA. Inilalahad sa nasabing pagtitipon ang Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan na naglalaman ng mga paghahanda na ginagawa ng DepEd Davao del Sur para sa darating na pasukan sa ika-24 ng Agosto. Ayon kay OIC Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, ang SDO Davao del Sur ay gagamit ng distance learning na pinapayagan ang actual face-to-face classes.
BELCP is the Learning Continuity Plan. It is a roadmap on how are we going to deliver education or learning in this time of pandemic. In compliance to the order of our President that there will be no face-to-face interaction, the Department of Education opts to have the distance learning, of which this distance learning can be delivered in different modalities. Ang default talaga natin is ang modular learning. Yung modules na yan, susuportahan yan ng mga lessons that would be transmitted through online platform, offline platform, and we also have the radio-based instruction.
Samantala, ang School Governance and Operations Division o SGOD sa pangunguna ni Chief Education Supervisor Dr. Mario C. Mondejar ay nagkonsepto ng Project Hatud na naglalayong maglatag ng mga estratehiya at pamamaraan na nagsisiguro sa kaligtasan ng mga personnel na hahawak sa learning module sa pamamagitan ng disinfection.
Project Hatud means harnessing partnership among stakeholders in tracking curricular effectiveness, utilizing quality and diverse learning materials. Project Hatud is the division-initiated project that aims to establish health protocols in the distribution and retrieval of the learning modules. There are 3 phases of this Project Hatud. First phase is reproduction phase. The second phase is the distribution phase. And the third phase is the retrieval phase.
Ayon kay Dr. Christine B. Pacatang, Medical Officer 3 ng DepEd Division of Davao del Sur, kinakailangan na ang lahat ay susunod at tatalima sa mga health protocols ayon sa Interagency Task Force Against COVID-19.
The role of the health and nutrition team during this Project Hatud will be to enhance the compliance of minimum health standards, especially in schools. To have social distancing during the retrieval and the distribution of the modules, to have to practice proper disinfection of modules, not only in our schools but also in our houses, and to have proper disinfection of the frequently touched areas, especially those drop boxes. Our nurses will be available. They will orient the school teachers on how to properly disinfect the modules.
Samantala, ayon sa Schools Division Superintendent Dr. Nelson C. Lopez, CESO 5, kinakailangan talaga ang suporta ng mga magulang sa panahon ng makabagong normal.
Okay sila, na-enlighten sila, especially ang atong mga president na representing the parents as regards their responsibilities and their share whenever class will open, na iba naman ang modality na to, learning modality, which really needs the support of our parents especially.
Ayon kay DepEd Secretary Leonor Magtolis Briones, education must continue. Sama-sama nating harapin ang makabagong normal na may dalang pag-asa na ang lahat ay ating malalampasan. Para sa karagdagang impormasyon, maaari lamang bumisita sa official Facebook page ng DepEd Tayo, Davao del Sur. Para sa napapanahong impormasyon, Kyle KCS Navarro, DavSur Newsbits.
Naranasan ko nang maiwan. Hindi ko na mabilang kung ilang beses akong nakiusap hanggang sa maubos ang pangungusap. Naisip ko na ring sumuko dahil sa sunod-sunod na bagyo. Parang walang katapusan itong kalbaryo. Saan nga ba ako patungo? Saan ba ang dulo nito? Sa paglalakbay, muntik na akong huminto. Pero sinalubong mo ko. Ipaliwanag sa akin yung mga mata mong gustong matuto. Ang mga kamay mong sabik sumulat. Ang mga labi mong nais bumigkas ng mga salitang nakakapawi ng pagod. Tinatalo mo itong lungkot at takot. Binibigyan mo ng sagot ang mga katanungan sa aking puso.
Masampat, abi-abi, mga anak.
Masampat para abi-abi ka mo.
Na sa dami ng alinlangan ko't tanong sa mundo, ito ang nag-iisang sigurado. Mahal ko ang pagtuturo. Ito ang nagbibigay buhay sa aking pagkatao. At ang mga pangarap nila, ang aking ligaya. Minsan na rin akong naiwan.
Sa Arman.
Kaya't sisikapin kong hindi mo ito maranasan.
Good morning, everyone. Time check, it's already 8:33 in the morning. So we will now begin with our conference. First, I am going to prepare the slides. I would like to request everyone to pay attention for our national anthem, to be followed by a prayer, to be led by Miss Jacqueline Rose M. Lumbab, School Administrator from St. John Marie Vianney Academy of Salud Incorporated.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, pero sa silananan, alam ng puso, sa likid mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyagan ang magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pagkaw, ay hinatang tulang awin sa pagkayang minamahal. Ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iinit, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di matitigil. Luman ang araw ng walhaging pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya ng pagkay mga amin, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Let us remember that we are in the presence of God. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Loving God, thank you for uniting us today, for bringing us together in the monitor of our gadgets during this orientation on basic education learning continuity plan and learning delivery modalities by our division. As institutions and educators, we are being confronted with the new normal situations, and often we are overwhelmed with the real challenges and difficulties. However, we turn to you because apart from you, we can do nothing. As we wash and sanitize our hands to ensure safety from possible transmission of the virus, we ask you, loving God, to wash and cleanse our hearts, from stains of tears and hopelessness. As we observe physical distancing in order to protect ourselves and others, we kindly entreat you, our dear Lord, to be near to us, to assure us of your presence, inspiration, and guidance, especially today when we discuss matters relative to our educational endeavors as school administrators. As we wear face masks to conceal us and others from any harm of virus, we humbly beseech you, our dear God, to unveil the mask of our pride and indifference in order for you and for one another to see our hearts, as we believe that what is essential is invisible to the eyes. Thank you, loving God, for this experience of COVID-19 that leads to new positive discoveries. We also remember those who suffer from it in one way or another. Bless us today and always. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Rose M. Lumbab. At this point, we will be hearing an opening message to be given to us by our school's division superintendent. Let us all welcome Nelson C. Lopez Sesofai.
Hello, good morning, everyone.
Good morning, Sir Nelson.
I hope that our expected participants were able to connect already, and most especially also our colleagues from the division, especially those who are having their parts for this activity. So my courtesy to everyone, to our partners from the private schools. First and foremost pala, thank you, Ma'am Jacqueline Rose Lumbab from St. John Maria Vianney Academy also for the prayer. And as I mentioned, greetings to all our private school administrators or their representatives, my colleagues from the division office, our organizers for this activity, especially it is headed by our SGOD team with Dr. Mario Mundihar, Bobert, Kirk, Clarence, and of course, my partner in the division, ESDS, Diduyo, Ma'am Che Cometa, our CID chief. Andito na ba sila lahat, Bert? Naka-connect? Naka-connect na sila. Okay. So, this activity had already been conducted to our different districts, participated by our school administrators, public school district supervisors, and also the presidents of the Parent Teachers Association for the purpose of orienting them as to the roadmap of the Department of Education, particularly our division here in Davao del Sur, as to how we go through our delivery of learning, delivery of education this time of pandemic. And it's also our our desire that our partners also from the private schools, you as our partners, will also be oriented on what we are doing. And although we mentioned already this one before during our first meeting, but the content, its updates, and since this has been already finalized and we already furnished our provincial government, the local school board, with this copy. And I know that the private schools had also been preparing your learning continuity plan, and congratulations for our schools who have already submitted their learning continuity plan as part of the requirements, no, for the opening of classes that you can operate. That is a part of the requirement. So you see, in the program today, aside from what this learning continuity plan is all about, its content, the various learning modalities, the MELC, which is already very famous, most essential learning continuity. But part really of the discussion is on the process as to how this module, since we'll be implementing modular instruction. No, this is our default modality. Just distance learning tayo, and that no face-to-face really engagement with our learners by 2020, as already mentioned and pronounced by our secretary. If there will be face-to-face, then it will be by January 2021. So in our operation, we will really open our classes this school year. So we'll forget first face-to-face interaction for this calendar year. If there is face-to-face, then it will be dependent on the situation, if by the IETF, by our local government unit, or by the Department of Health. So it can be allowed by January 2021. So depending on the situation. So that's why ang iisipin natin talaga ngayon when we operate is non-face-to-face. So different learning modalities, and that will be discussed by Kurt Herwela as I saw the program. Since naka-default sinabi ko yung modular instruction and the process of that, how can this reach the hands of our learners, the households of our learners, then we have also our project Hatud, no? On the process na ang delivery nito, wherein health and safety of the personnel that will be delivered and the health and safety also of our recipients can also be preserved or be maintained. So therefore, that will be discussed by Dr. Mondihar. So there, really, there are so many things that I find it really very important for our private schools to know and to learn from what we are doing. For I believe na there are also practices that we are doing here in the public schools that can also be adopted. And that's, in advance information, we also partnered with radio stations. Kasi ang radio stations, ang RBI, radio-based instruction, is also part of our delivery mode that to augment our modular instruction, there will be someone also that will be doing a radio broadcast. So, hindi man possible sa atin ang TV, but radio pwede kasi malayo man ang maabot ng radio. And we are so very thankful na very positive sa atin ang ating partner from the Big C, no? The Big C Radio. At andito siguro ngayon si yung principal natin si Ma'am Karen. Salamat sa kanila na they accommodated us in our guesting yesterday. And we also had our interview, a recorded interview that was also being played sa Facebook live. So salamat sa management ng the BC. And there are other also radio stations na pwede rin ating private schools makaabil kasi alangan ang public schools lang ang makinig sa radio. Pwede ba taguan sa room ang radio kung mag-program. So everyone can avail of that. So kung ano ang ginagawa namin, so pwede makaabil ang ating mga partners from the public school. So abangan lang ninyo ang mga schedule. No, may mga schedule 'yan kung anong lesson, anong grade level for that particular day, particular hour. So, 'yun, para yan sa lahat. So, I hope with this half day activity with our the resource persons from the division office, si Ma'am Che will be discussing the most important learning competencies. ESD Diduyo will be discussing the learning continuity plan. So the rest, yung sinabi ko, si Kirk, si Mario, then we discuss the rest. So salamat sa inyo, mga resource persons natin. At salamat rin sa ating mga participants from the private schools. I know that you are also facing challenges this time. may mga challenges talaga ang lahat. And I'm so happy na you're still here, continue to survive, coping with what is happening around, and just be, be comforted that we are here in the division office as your partners, counterparts tayo dito, mga supervisors who are always willing to assess our private schools in all your concerns. At saka before I end, makatulong talaga sa atin, especially in the implementation of various learning delivery modalities. Kung meron na pag-isipan, aside from modular instructions, so merong division, DepEd memorandum na in-release ang ating central office that is signed by our Undersecretary Diosdado Dads, no, San Antonio. Itong Department Memorandum CI 2020-0162. Ang date niyan is July 21, 2020. So kung i-google niyo yan, ang title is Suggested Strategies in Implementing Distance Learning Delivery Modalities. So nandyan na yan sa online. Suggested Strategies in Implementing Distance Learning Delivery Modalities. And that is applicable to all of us, both public and private schools. Very comprehensive ang makita natin doon na mga information, especially as we implement, as we start the school year this August 24. So magandang umaga sa lahat. Maraming salamat sa iyong pag-participate, and that I hope that this day's activity will truly be worthwhile, very informative, very beneficial, and very productive to all of us. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.
Thank you so much, Sir Nelson, for that very comprehensive overview, sir. Salamat po. And sir, get well soon.
Thank you, Bert.
Yes, sir. Okay. Thank you again to our SDS, Sir Nelson Lopez, Sesofai. At this point, I would like to call in our Education Program Specialist 2 for School Management Monitoring and Evaluation, Dr. Kirk Sanihel P. Hiruela, for the checking of attendance. Kirk?
My greetings and courtesy to our School Division Superintendent, Sir Nelson C. Lopez, SESO5, to our OIC Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, Madam Marilyn Diduyo, the Chief and officials of the School Governance and Operation Division, and our private delegates, good morning. To check the virtual attendance, at the same time, call the roll of the officials of DepEd Division Office of Davao del Sur. Please turn on your camera whenever your name is called and say present. Starting with Madam Marilyn Diduyo, our Assistant Schools Division Superintendent. Madam. Sir Bubert, just checking, can you hear me?
Yes, Kirk, loud and clear.
Hello, Kirk. I'm here.
Hi,
good morning. Good morning, everyone.
The Chief of the Curriculum Implementation Division, Madam Cherilyn Cometa. Madam.
Nag-wave si Madam.
Okay. The Chief of the School Governance and Operations Division, Dr. Mario C. Mondihar. Our DepEd Division of Davao del Sur Medical Officer 3, Miss Christine B. Pakatang, Doctor of Medicine.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Acknowledge, Doc. The SGOD Education Program Supervisor, Dr. Clarence Pilirin.
Good morning, Present. I'm here.
Good morning. Of course, the SGOD School Management Monitoring and Evaluation Senior Education Program Specialist, Mr. Bob G. Dumagan. Hi, sir. Good morning. On a different mode, the virtual attendance of the different private school leaders and or delegates, and the attendance as well of the public schools district supervisors and district principal in charge, and other participants shall be checked and verified as they type in their attendance code
on the cue to be given right after watching this short video. Shares. Sir, can you allow me to share screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Okay, yon.
On the bottom part of your screen, you will see different icons.
Walang walang nakita, walang na-view. Okay.
And a chat box will pop up from your screen. From there, type your full name side by side with your code. And you press enter.
Pwede naman ito mag-ano.
Nada yung mute dito sa may audio. May audio.
Wala siyang speaker dito na. una.
Naka-unmute.
Sir Bogart, attendance is checked and will be verified later on our chat box as we go along with this conference.
Yes, thank you,
Unmute naman.
sir. Thank you for facilitating our attendance. Again, for those who were not able to cast their attendance in our chat box, please key in the necessary codes together with your name so that our secretariat will be able to verify your attendance. Again, thank you so much, Kirk. At this point, we will now have our officer in charge of the Office of the Assistant Schools Division Superintendent to discuss to us the content of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan of the Division of Davao del Sur. Everyone, let us all welcome Madam Marilyn V. Diduyo.
Good morning, everyone. Am I heard?
Yes, Madam. Loud and clear. Good morning po.
Okay. I-plaster ko muna may camera. Okay. To our Schools Division Superintendent, Mr. Nelson Lopez, to the two chiefs of the CID and the SGOD, Division Office personnel, our partners, our private school partners in the implementation of basic education curriculum, our district supervisors will be the alter ego of the CID in the implementation of the curriculum in your area, in the private schools that are around. May buntag sa tanan. And the last time that we had our meeting, that's before the finalization of our LCP, of which we presented already to you the draft of our LCP. And I know that you were asking for the copy of that, but we were not able to release it yet because of the fact that it's not yet final. But nonetheless, the one which I will be presenting today will be the one that is already considered final, but subject again for some adjustment because also of the different adjustment which our central office had been giving us. So that is our LCP. And this time, this LCP will be given to you, a soft copy will be given to you through Mr. Dumagan. And its implementation will be monitored by both the CID and the SGOD, which will be directly, which our supervisors, district supervisors are directly involved. I suppose that you know already who are the district supervisors in your locality. So keep in touch with them because they will be assisting you in the implementation of the curriculum in your respective schools. So, Hubert, how could I share my presentation? This is the one we presented. Sabi nga ni Sir kanina, ito na yung present namin doon sa mga PTA officials in the different districts. So, the one that I will be presenting to you.
Yes, Madam. Sa lower bottom part, Madam, may share screen na button.
Yeah, okay. Where is this? I have to open first. Sandali ha, i-open ko muna yung presentation ko.
Madam.
Is Mr. Asan around? Sir Bobert?
Po siya kaganina, Madam, nag-request for admission.
Kasi baka din siya ngayon ng ng webinar sa literacy. Okay, ito. Okay na? Can you see it, Robert?
Po.
Meron na
Yes, Madam.
Okay, so once again, as sinabi ko kanina, I have already partially presented this to the group, to our private school partners, administrators. But the one that I presented is not yet the final one. This is now the final one, which ito yung sinabit namin sa region at saka binigay namin sa mga stakeholders natin like our provincial government. Sabi nga ni Madam Liling, education must continue no matter what. And this is now the learning continuity plan of the division of Davao del Sur. Ano to? Okay. What is learning continuity plan in basic education? It is, as I've said, it is a roadmap on how to deliver education in this time of crisis. But by the way, what we will be giving to you, my dear school heads in the private schools, will be the soft copy of this BELCP in the Word format. Hindi ito but if you want the presentation, you might have a copy of this as well. But what we will be giving you is yung talagang naka-Word format siya at saka merong naka-bind content. Learning continuity plan is a roadmap on how to deliver education in this time of crisis. This is also a guide for all of us on how to bring about a sense of normalcy in the new normal in the educational system. We know for a fact that our students now are very much eager, or our learners or even our teachers are very much ready or eager na may makabalik pa kaya kami sa yung nasanayan natin. Itong LCP na ginawa natin will be our guide on how to bring normalcy in the life of our students, in the life of our teachers, in our lives as administrators, in what we call the new normal in the education system. Paano ba gagawin? What are the guiding principles na pinatupad ng central office, pinatupad ng regional office, as well as pinatupad din ipatutupad din natin is first and foremost is to protect the health and safety and well-being of our learners, teachers, and personnel, and that is to prevent further transmission of COVID-19. Isa yan sa pinaka-foremost na guiding principles natin. Ano mang mangyari, dapat protektahan natin ang safety, ang health, at saka well-being ng mga taong involved sa education. And that most of all are the learners. Ensure that the learning continuity through K-12 curriculum adjustments, alignment of learning materials, deployment of multiple learning delivery modalities, proper orientation of parents or guardians of learners. No matter what, the education must continue. There is a continuity of the expected competencies of the K-12 curriculum. Yes, there are adjustments and there are alignment of learning materials and the usage or the deployment of the different learning delivery models. And that's why we do have there should be a proper parent orientation. In the case of the public schools, we have already done this. We did not have the opportunity to really see or to really encounter or to really orient the parents, all parents in the school face to face. But through their PTA officials, through their PTA presidents, we were able to cascade the information on how to go about learning education in this new normal. Next is to facilitate the safe return of teaching and non-teaching personnel and learners to workplace and schools, taking into consideration the scenarios projected by the DOH, IATF for the management of emerging infectious disease in the Philippines. We want to facilitate the safe return of our teaching. That's why our schools are being ready, even if we are not expecting face-to-face, but we are expecting our personnel and some parents to be in school. That's why schools are being prepared as to the different protocols that we have to, health protocols that we have to observe. I know some of you have friends in the Facebook of our school heads in the public school. You've noticed that our health personnel headed by Dr. Christine Pakatang visited their school and to find out if they are already ready, if they are complying with the requirements. Meron ba tayong mga foot bath, hand washing facilities, and are there available masks, are there available PPEs, among others that is needed, just in case that our teachers and non-teaching personnel will be visiting the school, and even our parents. We are not expecting our students to be in school, but we are expecting our teaching and non-teaching and parents to visit schools anytime. It is also one of the guiding principles is to be sensitive to equity considerations and concerns and endeavor to address them the best that we can. Okay, so you have noticed that we are observing 50% attendance of our teachers. We are also very sensitive of our personnel, not requiring them to come to school every day. They are given the opportunity to have work from home. And for those who are encountering difficulties in their travel because of the unavailability of vehicles, we are considering them to work at home. And yung mga meron ng mga comorbidities, ibig sabihin may mga sakit na ng mga guro at saka mga school heads and even our employees, they are allowed to work from home. Very considerate tayo dito. Then, the last is to link and bridge the BELCP to DepEd's pivot to quality education and into the future of education under the framework of Sulong Edukalidad and Futures Thinking Education. No matter what, we will not, anumang gawin natin sa pagtuturo, anumang delivery ang gagamitin natin, what we are putting premium is to deliver quality education. So sinabi namin sa mga parents namin, hindi ibig sabihin napapasa lahat dahil nga ibang modality na, wala ng face-to-face. We still have to consider if the readiness of our students, and that we will really deliver the quality education, the same quality of education that we will be delivering to our students, even in the different modality. So, premium pa lang natin yung to deliver quality education. That's why Mrs. Cometa will be discussing the MELC, yung most essential learning competencies, of which our government or our department is really kind of pick up the most essential learning competencies that our students ought to learn without sacrificing the quality. So, those are the 5 guiding principles. How did we do it? What are the methodologies and principles? Of course, there is a conduct of survey to parents and learners, of which our private schools were included. The time that was given to us last June or sometime in May. We also have the focus discussion among leaders and teachers. Ito pa lang sa survey din, ginamit namin doon yung LESF. I just don't know if our private schools are using also the learners enrollment school survey form. Anyone from the private school who could tell us if ginamit ba din natin yung LESF? Anyone?
Ma'am Inday, Ami Coral, ma'am.
Yeah.
Ma'am,
LESF din sila.
The forms, ma'ams, are given to them, so they are using.
So the enrollment that they are submitting to us are based on the LESF, I suppose, Ma'am Ami.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. So that is one of the survey. That's one of the survey forms that we've used also. We also have our focus group discussion among school leaders and teachers. Series of meetings, series of FGDs were conducted among our school leaders and teachers. In your level in the private school, I know you also have your FGDs with the PEAC ba yan, oh? Nagpupulong din kayo on how to go about this learning in times of this crisis. We also coordinate with our local government units. Our district supervisors are the one representing the division in your locality to coordinate with our LGUs. For the province, it's us in the division office coordinating with them, informing them of some updates on how getting their ideas on the readiness of our province to go about this kind of new normal in education. And of course, you also have inputs from the DepEd national and regional levels. There are policies that we are banking, of which doon namin binibase yung ano namin, research natin. At saka doon din natin yung guides din natin sa yun upang magawa natin ng paraan on how to go about education. Okay. This is our school data. Total number of schools, and this is coming from the planning. We have 19 private schools in the elementary, and we have 17 junior high school, of which I suppose all junior high schools are offering yung 17 AMI, Ma'am Ami, are also offering a senior high school. A total of 36. Pati isama natin yung senior high school, there are 53. Okay. Ito yung sa mga ALS natin. Baka meron din tayo mga sa private schools. Please inform us if you are also having your ALS program. Okay. This is based on the readiness of the schools to digital learning. This is the survey for the private school. The elementary of the 19 elementary private schools with ICT laboratories to be used by the learners, there are only 7. Paano ko ba makita itong sa ano? Kasi hindi ko makita sa screen yung ibang data ko dito kasi natabunan ng ano. Ano yan? Hindi, tama na yun. Yun. Wala ito. Hindi ko makita ito. Andali ha, medyo ito na yung ano. Nawala. Okay na? Nakita nyo na? Can you still view it, Robert?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So ito na yung data ng readiness ng schools natin to digital learning. This was based on, their data was based on the survey that we conducted sometime in June. Coming from the planning office. Out of the 19 elementary schools, there are 7 who have ICT laboratories. And there are 9 with internet connectivity, but through the whole province, unstable talaga yung internet connection natin. For the junior high school, we have 12 with ICT laboratories, with 9 internet connectivity, which is very intermittent. For the junior high school, 12 of which are ready, have ICT laboratories and connectivity. How would I go to the next ano? Okay. Okay. This is the learners' data. For the elementary, there are 1,040 learners who joined the survey, who were able to join, captured by the survey, of which 430 have laptops and desktops at home, 622 with internet connectivity, and 794 with smartphones or tablets, and with 1,000 elementary pupils have radio or TV at home. For the junior high school, a total of 4,623 learners who were captured by the survey, of which 1,103 have laptops or desktops, and 1,270 with internet connectivity, and 2,561 with smartphones or tablets, and 3,000 of which have 3,580 with TV or radio. For the senior high school, only 308 out of 1,401 who joined the survey have laptops at home or desktops, and 410 with internet connectivity, 782 with smartphones, and majority of them, of which 1,138 of them have TV or radio at home. How about their modality choice data? The time that we, just to inform everyone, we crafted this LCP, this was still during the time of which no pronouncement yet from the President that face-to-face interaction will be prohibited. But nonetheless, kunti lang pagbabago dito. Ang mangyari dito ngayon is itong face-to-face interaction, totally mawala na ito. So, but nonetheless, the data will be still the same. For private school, elementary, 368 opted to have online modality, 442 offline modality, and 339 blended modules, blended learning through modules, then 185 blended learning via on air through radio transmission, and 106 blended through school air via amplifier with face-to-face interaction. Sinabi ko na kanina, wala mo na, let's take out the idea of the face-to-face interaction. For junior high school, there are 852 who opted for online modality, 2,885 opted for offline. For blended learning through modules, we have 3,249. And ang radio 820 and amplifier 703. For junior high school, we have 244 who opted for online modality. Offline is 1,167, 1,512 for the modules, 523 for school on the air via radio, and 464 school on the air via amplifier. Ang amplifier pala yung trumpa-trumpa na gagamitin. So meron pa din from private school na gustong gamitin yung trumpa. Baka doon sa barangay nila na sa barangay hall, tapos i-connect sa trumpa. Yung trumpa, ginagamit na natin yan sa ALS before. Okay, so I don't want to dwell more on the, school heads. Sandali. Teachers data. There are only 294 teachers who were able to join or who were able to join the survey, of which 233 have laptops, 154 have internet connectivity, 249 have smartphones, and 81 only out of 294 with trainings in digital learning. Yan ang teachers data na private school natin. For the school heads, 38 school heads were able, we get the data from the 38 school heads, of which 35 have laptops. Yung tatlo lang lang laptops at desktops ang mga school heads natin sa private school. 28 have internet connectivity, 30 are using smartphones, and only 15 have digital training. Iguali sa rata sa private public kay out of 271 school heads ang nag-answer ng survey, only 18 have trainings with in digital learning. Almost the same ang ratio. Okay, so what have we done? What are our preparations for the curriculum implementation? We have already conducted the inventory of our available learning materials based on the most essential learning competencies, of which I know Ma'am Che will be discussing in details about this mamaya. Meron na tayong our APS. We also have started or we have already enhanced available learning materials. Yung katapos ng inventory, ini-enhance namin kung ano yung kakulangan na dapat magamit natin for the implementation of the most essential learning competencies. Then, we prepare and reproduce and enhance the supplementary learning materials based on the contextualized MELCs. We are now downloading our division-initiated materials, itong ginawa ng mga EPS natin, binigay na, we have started giving this to the supervisors, the soft copy, for reproduction in the different schools. I just don't know if complete na, kasi I suppose it started yesterday. Kahapon lang tayo nagsimula to download the soft copy of the division-initiated SLMs or self-learning modules, activity sheets, and SIMs. We haven't received yet the one from the central office. Patagi-tagi pa lang ang binigay nila. But the region decided that we will utilize the division-initiated learning materials to be used in the field. If private schools will opt to use that one, we are also very willing to share it with you. And the different SLMs that our education supervisors, through the different master teachers and the experts in the crafting of the different learning materials, they were already quality assured and were already checked as to the conformance of the standards of the LR natin. We also upskill teachers' competences in the teaching learning using varied modalities, webinars, face-to-face interaction in adherence to the minimum health protocols. Our teachers now in the public schools are into webinar left and right, together with our school heads. Right now, our regional office is conducting the learning delivery modalities in the new normal, training also how to teach in the new normal, the different webinars. They also attended the national level as well. And I suppose our private schools are also into this kind of features at skilling of training. Ito yung isa sa nakapaloob sa ating sulong edukalidad. We will adopt blended learning as a modality in teaching learning delivery for basic education NDLs. Ito yung sinabi ko na kanina, ginawa ito bago pa ang declaration ng presidente na walang face-to-face interaction. Sabi nga ni kanina that face-to-face interaction will be allowed in come January 2021 for areas all not considered as high risk. But then again, still subject to some changes pa rin tayo until such time that there will be a written order that face-to-face will be implemented. So, ito yung learning delivery modalities presented by the national LCP. Bago pa man ang declaration ng presidente, but upon declaration of the president, nawala na to lahat. Face-to-face, yung traditional face-to-face. Ang sinabing blended learning dito ay yung merong modules at saka merong face-to-face. Blended learning yan. So, yan ang unang description ng blended learning ng department. But nonetheless, upon the proclamation of our president, nawala lahat yan. So, ito na yung gagamitin natin. We have the distance learning modality. Distance learning modality, when this was introduced, there are only 3. Distance learning, modular, using modular. Distance learning, the online, offline. TV, distance learning, TV, radio-based instruction. Ang pang-apat ngayon is ang tinatawag nating blended distance learning. It was included in the memorandum DMCI 2020-0062, yung sinabi kanina ni Sir, which you could access and we could also provide you a soft copy. The suggested strategies in implementing distance learning delivery modalities or DLDM for school year 2020-2021 from our Undersecretary of the Curriculum and Instruction, Diosdado M. San Antonio, dated July 21, 2020. Ma'am Che, meron ba tayong kopya nito? Meron tayong soft copy, no? Ma'am Cometa. Bert, I will give you the soft copy. Do you have the soft copy of this, Bert? Of yung yung suggested strategies?
Apo.
Meron ka soft copy?
Madam, the one you gave.
Yung suggested strategies in implementing distance learning?
Oo, madam, kasali ito yung slides na pinipresent ko.
Ha?
Kasali siya dito na slides, madam.
Slides na itong binigay ko sa'yo?
Yes, madam.
Sige, I'll give you the soft copy anyway, so that we could provide also the soft copy of this memorandum from the curriculum and implementation sa central office. So
Yes.
nagiging apat na itong distance learning natin. Mayroon tayong tinatawag na blended distance learning. So I will discuss one by one. But nonetheless, the default of the division is really the modular distance learning. That's why we've started now the reproduction of the modules of the division-initiated modules na ibibigay na namin sa district. So our consideration only is the enrollment sometime July 15. Kasi yun din ang binigyan ng allocation from the central office, yung enrollment natin as of July 15 in the public school. So the modular distance learning will be supported by the online, offline distance learning. Meron kaming mga competencies na we could present that in the online platform. Sa Division of Davao del Sur, we have the so-called DepEd Classroom, DepEd Davao del Sur Classroom. Please, you can access that in the Facebook page. DepEd Davao del Sur Online Classroom. There are series of lessons there. Meron ding online activity na pinipresent ang mga teachers natin. Itong offline distance learning, ito yung tinatawag nating digitization of our modules, of which or some other activities or video instruction, of which our students could access, or we could give our students, our learners, our teachers the soft copy and have them use that or view that in their TV, in their video, in their cell phones, even without internet. That is our distance learning, our offline distance learning. Digitization, dinigitize namin yung mga modules and other video instructions. This TV radio-based instruction, we haven't coordinated, or we haven't had a chance to collaborate with TV stations in Davao del Sur, considering the SOR telemedia of cable TV in Davao, in Digos, would only reach will only capture a part of Santa Cruz and Hagonoy. It will not even reach to other municipality. But even if they could reach other municipality, not all students, not all parents, not all households in the different municipality are subscribing cable. That's why we opted to collaborate with our radio stations. We will be airing radio instructions, educational lessons in the different radio stations. Right now, our broadcasters, our select broadcasters, our teachers are now in Bansalan, Radyo ni Juan, for the immersion in preparation of our dry run come August 4 on how to deliver instruction over radio. Radyo ni Juan would cover sila ang pinakaunang na communicate natin that we will be using, and they are giving us 1 hour every day from Monday to Friday for kinder to grade 12. And Saturday, that is the ALS. Lessons for us will be aired through Radio. We are still finalizing our plan with the Big C and other radio stations here in Digos. But for Radyo Juan, go na talaga tayo. Meron na silang binigay sa atin na time slot. Sila na din ang gagamitin natin for dry run. And everyone in our private schools are invited to listen to that dry run in Radyo ni Juan, come August 4. August 4 man tayo, Ma'am Che, no? August 4 ba tayo? Yung dry run natin in all modalities?
Yes.
Okay, August 4. Meron tayong dry run in the implementation of modular distance learning. Meron din tayong online. Meron din tayong offline at saka meron din tayong radio-based instruction. Sabay-sabay natin yan, different time lang. I hope the CID could furnish our private school a copy of the schedule so that they could also view or could kasi parang ano naman namin ito, meron coverage din ito through Facebook page so that they could also view how we do about modular distance learning, how we do about online and offline distance learning, and the radio-based instruction. Pinagsama-sama natin yan lahat. That's why tinawag na tayo ngayon. Ang implement natin is the blended distance learning. Kasi lahat ng modalities in the distance learning, ginawa natin, gagawin natin. So, blended tayo distance learning, but the default of which all students could avail of is talagang yung module. We will be giving our students modules, each one of them by grade level, by and by quarter. Okay? So, I think I don't need to present this, but nonetheless, I'll give you an idea. These are the schools whom we consider sana na magkaroon sana, quote-unquote, na magkaroon ng face-to-face instruction before the proclamation, the declaration of our President. Bakit? Kasi ito yung mga eskwelahan natin sa Davao del Sur na less than 10 lang ang bata in every classroom. So if we will be asked if they could observe physical distancing, yes, because kukunti lang sila. But again, hindi na ito natuloy. Kasi nga, because of what the declaration, the strong opposition of our President that until such time that vaccine will be available, face-to-face will not be interaction in education be implemented. Okay. That's all about the instruction, the curriculum. Then, for the governance and operation, ito yung pinagagawa na namin ngayon na itatalakayin ito ni Doc Mondihar mamaya together with our medical officer, yung mga adherence natin sa assurance and guidelines of the DepEd, LGU, DOH, IATF, and the Office of the President for the main reason to ensure the safety of the learners and personnel in going back to school. So I know private schools, you are also doing this. Okay? So we also had, yung sinabi namin kanina, I think sinabi ko na din ito last time, we also advocate home gardening program in partnership with the DA. I also requested the SGOD, kung meron tayong mga seeds, if we could provide also our private schools, pero sabi kasi nila household ang binigay, mga municipal LGUs ang nagbigay. Okay, conduct of parents orientation, virtual or face-to-face. Our schools now in the different districts are conducting their orientation to parents. Hindi nga possible ang virtual, that's why ni-schedule nila by grade level, provided that they were able to follow the different protocols of the DOH. Then we also have mobilized partnership. Sinabi namin sa mga parents natin, president together with our school heads and teachers, if you are to partner with possible partners, be sure that what we will be asking will be to support the implementation of our LCP, particularly in the curriculum, in the reproduction of the modules and activity sheets. Kasi hindi talaga kakayanin, we have to admit it, hindi talaga kakayanin ng government alone considering the huge amount that we are using. Tentatively, Davao del Sur with the enrollment of last July 15, and the cost of the modules for 50 centavos a page, aabot tayo ng 43,900,000 ang kailangan natin. Buti na lang hindi tayo umabot ng billion. But nonetheless, hindi kakayanin yan kung if we are really to give. Kasi meron na din tayong estimated number of modules per quarter. So yun ang tentative nila. Then estimated the number of pages. Rough estimate lang yan. So aabot ang Davao del Sur with the 90,000 enrollees in the public school ng 430 million plus amount. So saan natin kukunin yan? So kailangan natin ng mga partners. Kasi we divided the butter. The government divided the butter kung magkano yung ibigay sa bawat division. Okay. So partnership. We also intensify implementation of the school-based feeding program. Ito na yung isa pa namin hinihintay na magbibigay ng milk, meron ng pera nito, magbibigay ng milk sa mga identified students. Then, conduct assessment and evaluation of the school physical facilities. Kahit na meron tayong pangyayaring ganito, wala tayong face-to-face, and because dumaan tayo, Davao del Sur went through series of trials, but then again, trials are blessing in disguise. That's why all of us stood up and were able to survive. Though we're still coping, but nonetheless, we are showing our resiliency that we will survive this. Dumaan tayo sa lindol, dumaan tayo sa baha, ito naman ang COVID ngayon. So for our school, continuous pa rin yung construction ng mga temporary learning space natin for the recipient schools, of which our engineers are doing the rounds now as to the readiness of that, ready for our face-to-face. We also constructed some school clinics in our different schools, identified schools. Hindi yan na stop even in the midst of this pandemic. Ito na yung ginawa natin. So, kaya na sinabi na ang instruction ng central office, a portion of the school MOOE of our schools should be allotted or should be allocated in support to our LCP. 50% of which are marked, 50% talagang gagamitin talaga doon sa mga kailangan natin. Kasi hindi nga kayanin if we will rely only to the national budget na binibigay. So, priority na ngayon, pina-revise na namin ang Okay, so I think that's all, and that's all about our LCP, Sir Bobert. Are we going to entertain clarification with this regard, Sir Bobert, or we will finish everything, then we'll have an open forum?
Hello, Madam.
Yes.
We will ask our participants from the private schools to reserve your questions and clarification right after the presentations. Kasi baka masagot yung mga tanong ninyo sa mga susunod na
Okay, next. Okay.
Okay, Madam.
Okay, that's all about LCP. Again, sabi nga ni Sir, we are just here for our private schools because we are not partner. We are partners. We are not competing. We should not be competing with each other. So looking into the enrollment, I was looking into the enrollment last time. As of July 15, we have a total of 71% enrollment as a whole, both public and private. And I'm so sorry to look into the data of the private kasi parang kukunti pa lang ang nakapag-enroll. But again, I am hopeful that mai-increase lang yan pag maunawaan na ng mga parents natin paano gagawin ang education. Hindi ko din masabi na lumipat sila sa private sa public school dahil hindi man din nag-increase, hindi din kami umabot doon sa previous year's enrollment natin. So talagang hindi pa rin nakapag-enroll, and the planning unit have not yet presented to us as to the status of how many students from the private schools have transferred to us. But nonetheless, I hope Sir Ma'am Ami, you could show us a data on that, showing that indeed there are private school students who are transferring to us. With that, thank you and good morning. We're just here listening to the discussion. Thank you, Sir Bobert.
Thank you so much, Madam Inday, for giving us the content of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan of the Division of Davao School. As a support
I cannot,
presentation given a while ago for Assistant Schools Division Superintendent, at this juncture, our Chief Education Supervisor for School Governance and Operations Division will discuss to us Project Hatud as part of the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan. So let us all welcome Dr. Mario C. Mundihar.
Hello, good morning, everyone. Am I here, Bubert?
Yes, sir. Affirmative. Pwede pa ano?
Okay.
Good morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Ayan.
Yes, Bert?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Can you clearly see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Okay. That's it. So this is let me take a moment. Hello. Okay, yan. Good morning, everyone, to our school's division superintendent, Sir Lopez, to, of course, our school's assistant school's division superintendent, Ma'am Inday Bituyo, Madeline Bituyo, good morning. To my counterpart, Ma'am Charlene Comita, CID Chief, and of course, Bobert and Kirk, and to all school administrators in the Davao del Sur private schools. Again, good morning. This is the process flow in learning modules distribution, or what we call Project Hatud. And what is this Project Hatud all about? Yeah, this is Hatud means harnessing partnership among stakeholders in tracking curriculum or curricular effectiveness, utilizing quality and diverse learning materials. So we are partnering our stakeholders. We do, and talking of the implementation of this, we have done already, as what Ma'am ESDSDU shared a while ago, that we have already conducted all the orientation in all districts. Sorry to tell that during the orientation, private school representative were not representatives were not being invited. Okay, that's why we are having this. So, what is Project Hatud? This is a division-initiated project that aims to establish health protocols in the distribution and retrieval of learning modules. So it means to say that this project is devised, is initiated in order to establish health protocols which involving distribution and retrieval of learning modules. Project Hatod also aims to lay down measures to ascertain the safety of persons involved in the distribution and retrieval of learning modules. So it means to say that we are really looking into the safety of the persons, teachers, parents, learners involved in the distribution, maybe the learners to accept, to receive, and the parents to distribute maybe, or the teachers being in charge of doing something before the distribution, and also during the retrieval of the learning modules. There are three phases of Project Hatud. First is the reproduction phase, the second is the distribution phase, and the third is the retrieval phase. Let's talk about the reproduction phase. School administrators are advised to prioritize the items that would be used for reproduction of learning modules such as printing materials, like book paper, ink, toner, etc. Because this is, some would say, the responsibility of the school administrators. Of course, private schools may have be different staff or personnel that would be looking into this. This also, the preparation includes the preparation of the supplies for portfolio, which is including the folders, expanded plastic envelopes with handle. So it is expected that all these materials are being prepared during the reproduction phase. Reproduction of materials will be on a weekly basis. This is to ensure that all materials are accounted for, specifically for each learner, and it should be in a weekly basis, because if it is a bulk reproduction, possibly it would be very difficult for the school or the staff to do that. So that's why it is suggested. These are being only being recommended and suggestions on how to reproduce the learning materials. Modules will be arranged per subject, one folder per subject. It means to say that in a weekly basis, modules and all those materials to be included should be arranged per subject area and should be placed in a folder. All folders shall be placed inside a plastic expanded envelope with label. Of course, the label would include the name and the grade level. So that's the package of the learning modules for each of our learner. During the distribution phase, learning materials or learning modules in the portfolio base shall be disinfected by the teacher advisor. This is how we follow the safety protocols of our personnel working with the modules. Because during the reproduction, it might be that a lot of hands, a lot of people are holding the modules, holding the papers, the printed materials, and preparing this to be being placed in portfolio. So it should be disinfected by advisor after placing all those folders inside the portfolio. Disinfected modules shall be set aside for 4 hours before it will be distributed. So it means to say it is not that disinfection will only be done during the giving of the modules, the learning modules, but it should be set aside first for 4 hours before it will be distributed. Later, Dr. Pakatang will explain why. Modules shall be distributed per batch. Batching shall be by grade level. Yes, the school shall have to design scheme of the batching to avoid overcrowding. So that's the reason why we need to distribute the modules by batch, because we, of course, have to avoid overcrowding in school. So, like for example, if the grade 1 would be distributed in the morning of Monday from 9 to 10 a.m., so only grade 1 in charge for the distribution, or who will hatud the learning modules to the learners, will be present in school. So if there are only 30 or 30 students, maybe, possibly, the in charge would be only 5 or less than 10. So only those people identified will be only present in school to avoid overcrowding. School administrators shall coordinate with the barangay officials in the mode of distribution. Why? Because it is very important that there should be a permit, there should be, shall we say, acknowledgement of the barangay officials or maybe in the municipal officials, how are we going, or how the school will use, or what kind of mode of distribution will a school be using. To prevent large crowd flocking in school, the distribution shall be assisted by the parents, identified parents, or maybe the barangay officials, other officials in the barangay to be determined by the barangay council. So it is the fact that the barangay council has the idea has the big decision making of all those people in the barangay, because they have also the local IETF who would be deciding whether these identified personnel or persons or officials are being considered as safe to hatud or to make hatud of the learning modules to our learners. It is expected that our learners, again, will not be going to school to get the modules, but only the parents, only the adults, because 20 years old and below are not allowed to be in any place rather than only stay at home. Distribution can be done through house to house. This is the reason why we need to have the big people or the matured people, the parents or the barangay officials to take charge of the hatud of the learning modules. The retrieval phase. So after the distribution, the third phase is the retrieval phase. Parents or volunteers shall return the accomplished learning modules. So it means to say, after the distribution, after the student answered all the modules in that portfolio, so the learner will keep all those answered materials in the same folder and placed back into the portfolio for the volunteers or parents to return those accomplished learning modules to the designated retrieval area. This retrieval area should be inside the school through the drop box. So it means to say that there will be no other people aside from the one in charge or the parents who volunteered to give and to return the learning modules shall be only the contact person of this module during the retrieval. And immediately, these modules, accomplished modules, will be dropped into the Dropbox inside the school. So after that, learning modules received shall undergo another disinfection by the teacher advisor before it will be handed over to the subject teacher. So it means to say that, again, in order to follow the safety protocols, the modules being retrieved, the modules being returned and placed in the Dropbox shall be again disinfected by the teacher advisor before it will be handed over to the subject teacher. Or maybe the subject teacher is just the same as the advisor. Disinfected modules shall be set aside again for 4 hours. So take note of that. After the disinfection, there will be no touching of the portfolio or the modules, and it should be set aside for 4 hours before it will be retrieved by, again, subject teacher or the advisor. Matter, we are following the safety protocols on the IETF. So let us join our hands in making basic education quality, accessible, relevant, and liberating for all. That's according to our Secretary of Education, Leonor Magtulis Briones. Again, good morning, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Sir Mar. Again, I would like to request our participants from the private schools that if you have questions or clarifications, jot down in your notes those points and then raise it up later during our open forum. Okay po? Sige. This time naman, we will be having our Chief Education Supervisor from the Curriculum Implementation Division to discuss to us the most essential learning competencies. Let us all welcome Madam Sherilyn A. Cometa. Madam Che. Madam, your microphone is turned off. Apa.
Do you hear me, Bobert?
Yes, Madam. Affirmative.
Okay, good morning to our SDS, Sir Nelson, to Ma'am Inday, our OIC SDS, to my counterpart, Dr. Mondihar, and to all the DepEd team regarding this CP, and to all school heads of these private schools. Regarding our MELCs, or our most essential learning competencies, as far as I can remember last meeting, we have requested Sir Buber to distribute to you our most essential learning competencies. There are about 16,000 learning competencies from kinder to grade 12 in our normal setting before. But after screening and checking all the competencies, the DepEd Central Office were able to shorten or select all the important learning competencies and have selected the most essential learning competencies, which is about 6,000. So we reduce it to about 40% of the learning competencies that we have, turning it into the most essential learning competencies. So if you have no copy of the most essential learning competencies, you can contact us and we can provide you with our most essential learning competencies. So with regards to the modules, the central office had provided us some modules, like for example, for actually we are proud to tell you that during our conferences, we have the ADM, or the alternative delivery mode. Region 11 was assigned to make modules on, that was before the COVID-19. Region 11 was assigned to make modules on the grade 3. And so Davao del Sur picked up the subject in Araling Panlipunan. And so we are very proud to tell you that we are done with our modules after quality assurance from the division to the region to the central office. And they have already downloaded all the modules of grade 3. No? So we have already a copy of the modules from the central office, and tell you that Region 11 completed all the modules of the subjects in grade 3. Aside from other regions, say for example, because all the regions were given as a grade level, and so others have only 3 modules, like for example in grade 7, in grade 9. So far we have grade kinder, grade 3, grade 5, grade 7, and grade 9. And only Davao region completed all the modules. So because they cannot provide us, I do not know if others will still be downloaded this week or next week for August 24. But our division have prepared also modules in case modules will not be downloaded to our division. So not only modules, we have also learning activities. We have done that since 2017 up to the present, making all learning materials, activity sheets. And for science, we have the SIM, or strategic intervention materials, and is in science. So as I said, we have in case the modules will not be downloaded, all the modules will not be downloaded from the kinder to grade 12, we have prepared in our division office. So that's all for the curriculum. Thank you and good morning again.
Thank you for giving us inputs on the most essential learning competencies. At this point, we will now have our learning delivery modalities to be given to us by our education. Before I will give you the learning delivery modality speaker, we will have first medical officer 3 who will discuss to us the minimum health standards. Let us all welcome Dr. Christine B. Mapang, MD.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, sir. Am I heard, sir?
Yes, yes, Doc. Good morning.
Okay. Okay. To our SDS, Sir Nelson, good morning. To our ASDS, Ma'am Marilyn Duyu, and our two chiefs from CID, Ma'am Cherilyn Cometa and Sir Mario Mandihar from SGOD, good morning. Today, we are going to discuss, I'm going to share with you the DepEd minimum health standards. So, I will share my screen, sir. Okay. Okay. So, right now, since this is the first time po na we are having pandemic, one of the most priority of DepEd is to really give safety to our, not only for our learners, but also our visitors, parents, and also our personnel. So, DepEd crafted this from DepEd Order number 14, series of 2020, the specific measures for COVID-19 prevention and mitigation in schools. So this is from DepEd Order number 14, series of 2020. Okay. So for the required health standards, it shall be adapted by the DepEd Chief Central Office, Regional Office, SDOs, and all public, private elementary and secondary schools, and also community learning centers. So this is based on crafted from the 2020-0015 or the guidelines on the risk-based public health standards of COVID-19 mitigation. So why mitigation? So since there is still an absence of vaccine, so we are having non-pharmaceutical intervention to suppress, to mitigate and to suppress the transmission of infectious disease. So we are having this 4 COVID-19 mitigation objectives. So we have increased physical and mental health resilience, reduced transmission, reduce contact, reduce duration of infection. Later on, I will be discussing the specific actions on how we can attain our objectives. Okay, so first, for a general and safety protocols. Okay, so as we enter po our schools, first, the visitor or every personnel shall step on the foot bath with disinfectant. So this disinfectant shall be replaced twice a day. Okay, so after stepping on the foot bath, there will be scanning of temperature. So all personnel or everyone who enters the school with 37.5 and above will be, hindi na po siya papasukin. So the normal temperature po is 36.5 to 37.5. And then after that, hand hygiene. So our schools right now, they're having, they built their own hand washing facility. So we should have our available po dapat ang ating soap. Liquid soap is advised para sa hand washing. And then also, we can also have disinfectants like alcohol-based sanitizers or disinfectants. And next is to fill up the questionnaire or logbook. Later on, I will show you the questionnaire. So for the questionnaire po, it should have the visitor shall reveal if there is history of exposure, history of travel, and also other signs and symptoms related to COVID-19. And also to fill the visitor's logbook. The logbook should have the contact numbers so that if there is contact tracing, then it will be easier to find those people. Next, physical distancing. So in every area inside the school, the faculty office or faculty room, the canteen or the pantry, and also the waiting area, there should be at least 3 to 6 feet or 1 to 2 meters away from each other. So, dapat nakalagay po ang mga chairs na nakadesignate po kung dapat away from each other, mga 3 to 6 feet po away from each other. So, also, there should be designated entrance and exit. So, if you have only one gate, you can put parang rope lang po in the middle to separate entrance and exit so that wala pong magkasalubong. Next is to have proper sneezing and coughing etiquette. So this is important because before we are used to when we cough or we sneeze, we just cover our mouth with our hands. But this time po, hindi na po yan siya pwede. So we have to cover our mouth or we have to cover our mouth with tissue or use the inner side of our elbow. So like that, para po sa proper sneezing and coughing etiquette. Also, next is to proper use of mask at all times. So meron po tayong signages na no mask, no entry sa schools and also in every room. So wala pong exempted dyan sa ating schools. And then it should cover both our mouth and our nose. So bawal po yung sa mouth lang ang mask. So it can be you can also use yung mga cloth na mask and then surgical mask. Pero if you have signs and symptoms, it should be changed with surgical mask or the medical mask. Next is to routine cleaning and disinfection. So we have to disinfect our room, our school, with the disinfectants. Usually we disinfect the frequently touched areas like the doorknobs, the desk, tables, computers. So we disinfect. You have to do this before opening our room and then after leaving our classrooms. Disinfection of modules. So we disinfect our modules because madami pong humahawak ng ating modules. So we have to disinfect it with before the distribution and after the retrieval. And then we have to leave it for 4 hours because ang virus po, it cannot survive without a host. So kailangan po niyang magkaroon ng host or someone na mapasukan. So if there is no host, if hindi siya if hindi siya maka-infect ng human being, then it will slowly die down. So and also po the disinfectants are very harsh po sa ating mga nostrils, and sometimes some of us are irritated with the smell of our disinfectants. So these are the suggested disinfectants. So if we have powdered bleach, if we use powdered bleach, we can use 1 tablespoon of powdered bleach with 2 liters of clean water. And if we use liquid bleach like Zonrox, Winrox, we can use 100 ml of liquid bleach and then mix it with 900 ml of water. So with this can be used sa foot bath. This can also be used sa frequently touched areas. Okay, so next, routines and protocols for health and safety. Okay, if there is someone po sa inyong napapasok sa inyong school with 37.5 or higher na temperature, the school should provide the surgical mask. So the school will provide the surgical mask and bring that person to the private screening area near the entrance. So it is very important po to have parang tent lang po, ilagay natin sa ating near entrance and label it as private screening area, because from there po we can assess maybe that person nainitan lang siya, and then when we assess him again, then normal na ang kanyang temperature, or maybe that person really had signs and symptoms like flu-like symptoms, ubo, sipon, or fever, then we can refer that person to the LGU. Okay, for school clinic and health cases. So right now, since we have a pandemic, it is very important to ensure the establishment, the setting up, refurbishment of a school clinic. So if in case po may teacher po kayo na nakapasok na ng school and then upon entrance niya mga 7 a.m., hindi pa siya nag-fever, but then at 12 noon nag-fever na po siya, we can bring the teacher to our clinic and we can assess the teacher, we can give treatment, and then from there, if meron po talaga siyang mga signs and symptoms of COVID, then from there pa lang po sa clinic, ma-contain na natin siya and we can refer the teacher to our LGU. And next, ito po yung sinasabi ko kanina na private screening area near the entrance. So it can be, you can use any tent, no? Just to provide privacy to the client, because sometimes po to provide confidentiality po if in case we are going to refer someone po sa LGU. And to ensure learners and personnel who manifest COVID-19 symptoms shall not physically report to school and shall seek medical advice. So if meron po kayong personnel or parent na meron na pong mga COVID symptoms before entering the school, you should advise them not to enter the school and shall seek medical advice. And prior to entering the school, they should have a medical certificate na ma-provide. Okay, next. Schools shall cooperate with the local health authorities and contact tracing. So that is why it is very important to put our contact numbers no, sa mga visitors doon po sa ating logbook and sa ating COVID questionnaires. Next is to ensure the learners and personnel who tested positive for COVID-19 shall not return to school even if asymptomatic unless cleared by the medical authorities. So if we have someone po na parent or personnel na nag-positive, they should show their proof po na negative na po sila or may clearance po sila from their LGU na pwede na po silang lumabas. So even if asymptomatic, they are not allowed unless meron po silang proof na they are allowed to go out. Okay, so to ensure the school should ensure the availability of emergency health kits and PPE. So I know it's very important to have PPE inside our school. So sa mga tao po, sa mga personnel po natin na nagsa school trans who do our screening of individuals in the point of entry, they can only pwede lang po na medical mask ang ating gamitin. And then if those like ating mga nurses, school nurses, if they are going to care for those suspected case of COVID-19 with no aerosol generating procedure po are like CPR or intubation, pero wala naman po yun sa school. They can use medical masks. They should use goggles or face shields and gloves or gown. And then if your nurse po is going to respond on an emergency case like CPR inside your school, like if someone na pumasok po sa inyong school na bigla lang po nahimatay, meron pong mga signs and symptoms of COVID-19, that person should use the full PPE, goggles or face shields with respirator and N95, gloves and gown. Okay, so the full PPE. And that person po na will transfer the client to a health facility should also wear full PPE. Okay, so for the DepEd health and safety policies, we have this preventive alert system in schools for COVID-19. So DepEd Memorandum number 15 series of 2020. So if in case meron po sa ating mga teachers na may mga signs and symptoms, the teacher should let ibigay lang po sa superior nila o sa principal nila, and then that principal will communicate with either sa barangay or sa LGU, and then strengthen the implementation of DO10 series of 2016, the policy and guidelines on comprehensive wash in schools program. So this is for the proper hand washing po sa ating schools. Strictly enforce the DO13 series of 2017, the policy and guidelines on healthy food and beverage choices in schools and in DepEd offices. So all of the schools po kailangan po na may strict na guidelines na we should eat healthy food and beverage only. And strict enforce the ban on smoking and vaping, so from DO48 series of 2016. Okay, so physical arrangements in schools. So we should maintain the proper sanitation and hygiene facilities. So all entrances should have foot baths. So like the principal's office, the faculty rooms, so the school clinic, the isolation facility or the private screening entrance should have foot bath. So those rooms that are functional should have foot bath po in their entrance. Toilets should be clean. Hand washing stations should be properly clean. And then we should also create common area for accommodating visitors or clients. So this is our waiting area. So it should be well ventilated, clean, and with proper social distancing. Okay. So to also ensure that the following are sufficiently provided in its premises. So In our washing facilities po, hand washing facilities, we should have tissue paper or paper towels. And then we have designated trash bins. Ngayon po, we should add infectious trash bin sa lahat ng mga hand washing facility, and adequate water and soap for hand washing. And also we should have hand sanitizer or alcohol-based solution, disinfectants, and IEC materials on health and safety, and also about COVID-19. And okay, so for the support mechanism, we have physical resilience. So we should encourage our personnel to have 30 minutes of daily activities. And at this moment, we should discourage also smoking and drinking alcoholic beverages, and also encourage eating nutritious food. So this time po, it's very important to really take care of ourselves and to increase our immune system. We also have mental health resilience. So all schools should set up their guidance office, and the schools should also have counseling services. So if you can also have a meeting with your teachers and have a forum po na they can open their they can share their feelings, and also promote school life balance. And we also have this mental health and psychosocial support services. So we are going to launch this on August 5. So we're having this every Wednesday. So you can tune in po sa DepEd tayo Davao del Sur for the webinars for this mental health and psychosocial support services. Okay, so for the screening, this is our guide if someone enters your school with any signs and symptoms or any histories of relevant histories of travel or any exposure from a positive COVID-19. So if that person is symptomatic, and then with a history of exposure or a history of travel from high-risk areas, that person shall not be allowed to physically report and must consult with care provider or use of telemedicine. So certificate of quarantine completion is required, so prior to reporting. Next, if that person is symptomatic, but then without history of travel or any exposure, that person should seek medical advice for proper treatment and intervention and the issuance of necessary medical certificate to prove that hindi po COVID-19 na kanyang illness. Next, if that person is asymptomatic within 14 days, but there is a history of travel or any exposure, the person is allowed to report physically, but the person has to present medical certificate from the local health authorities. If the person is asymptomatic within 14 days and there is no history of travel or exposure, the person can physically report. So this is my last slide. I hope everyone, we will be helping each other to attain our minimum health standards. So I will be showing to you our okay. Sir Robert. Hello, sir.
Yes, Doki.
Later na lang, wait lang. Okay, stop sharing. So I will share you another, this is our, if we are planning to do also monitoring in some of our private schools. So this will be our monitoring tool. I will be, makita sir, no? So this is our monitoring tool. So we will be giving this to the private schools later on. So this is from the entrance gate. If there's someone who man the entrance for the foot bath, hand washing facilities, IEC materials. This is 60 over 60 points. So ito po ang aming material. So we will be giving this to you. This is drafted from the DepEd Order number 14 series of 2020, the minimum health standards. Okay, and then we will be also giving you the COVID questionnaire. This is our COVID questionnaire. So, para if wala pa po kayong COVID questionnaire, then we can share it to you po. Okay, so thank you all for listening. God bless po.
Thank you so much, Doc Christine Pacatang, our Medical Officer 3 from the School Health and Nutrition section. If you have questions regarding the presentation of Doc Christine, please reserve them and we will address that one during our open forum. And for our last speaker, but definitely not the least, our Education Program Specialist 2 for School Management Monitoring and Evaluation to discuss the learning delivery modalities. Let us all welcome Dr. Kirk Sunnyhill P. Herwela. Kirk?
Na-share, sir.
Yes, yes.
Good morning, everyone. Let me begin this part with my prayers of hope and good health to everyone, especially these trying times and in the bleak scenario brought by COVID-19 pandemic. Not only our personal lives and routines have rapidly changed and challenged by this pandemic, but as well as our businesses, our professional endeavors, and also our education system have been challenged. In fact, various provisions of the Interagency Task Force and the different typical regulations of movement of goods, services, and of course, people. That is why face-to-face mode of classes has been prohibited. And thus, the Department of Education has to adopt the learning delivery modalities that do not involve face-to-face. And these learning delivery modalities are actually the concepts I am going to discuss today. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Learning Delivery Modalities course for division and school leaders. The advice of the current government specifies that there will be no face-to-face learning permitted until a vaccine is available. This has been emphasized further by our President Rodrigo Roa Duterte on the 2020 State of the Nation address last July 2020. As response to this, the Basic Education Learning Continuity Plan has identified 3 learning delivery modalities as alternative modes to ensure the delivery of quality learning to learners regardless of what they are and who they are. These are the blended learning, the homeschooling, and distance learning. Since blended learning entails face-to-face interaction among learners, which will violate the different provisions of IATF and other government policies, therefore, this blended learning is not a possible learning delivery modality in our situation. While homeschooling programs are already being offered by private schools and accredited homeschool providers, the implementation of homeschooling in public schools is still being considered, and the cover policy for its implementation is still being developed. Hence, just like blended learning, homeschooling is also not a possible and more so not an available modality for us. Since blended learning is not a possible modality and homeschooling is not yet available, we are therefore resorted to distance learning. With this, our future strategic direction in the delivery of quality education amidst the COVID-19 pandemic is distance learning. While maybe some of us here have already the idea or have come to read the concept of distance learning in our books and the internet, but at this point, Please allow me to further your knowledge by discussing comprehensively some important points regarding distance learning in the context of the Department of Education. Before that, please note that this guidance is based on draft policy guidelines which are still being finalized and are subject to change. Guidance contained in this document will be superseded by official policy issuance. Going back to distance learning, or otherwise known as learning from a distance, refers to a learning delivery modality where a learner is given materials or access to resources and he or she undertakes self-directed study at home or in another venue, pursuant to Department or DepEd Order number 21, series of 2019, page 96. More so, in distance learning, learners engage in independent learning at home or in any physical learning space applicable. The resources could be accessible either online or stored on CD, DVD, USB flash drive, or in printed form, or by viewing TV lessons, or listening to radio-based instruction while being geographically distant from the teacher. The teacher supervises and monitors the learner's progress and provides remediation and enhancement when needed and possible. Assistance may be provided by a learning facilitator, maybe a parent or a member of the family, or a community stakeholder. I know that these ideas regarding distance learning seem to be ambiguous, and maybe you are already asking questions like, how about those students who don't have computers? Or what are we going to do to those students who have no internet access? Or how about those students who are geographically challenged or remote? Your questions and feelings of ambiguity are valid. This because the concept or idea of distance learning is still broad. That's why this distance learning as a learning delivery modality is divided into 4 more specific subcategories, namely modular distance learning, online distance learning, TV-based, radio-based instruction, and blended distance learning. Now, allow me to discuss further these 4 distance learning modalities to enlighten us more about this distance learning. And let us start with modular distance learning. When we say modular distance learning or MDL, this refers to a learning delivery that is the form of individualized instruction where learners use self-learning modules. It could be in print or digital format, whichever is applicable in the context of the learner. Meaning to say, whenever we assign self-learning modules, we must always consider the context of our learner. Remember that what makes our learner different from each other is because of their social, cultural, and socio-economic backgrounds. In other words, we have students who are fortunate enough to have electronic devices like laptops, tablets, and mobile phones. And we also have less fortunate students who have none at all. Therefore, print materials should be provided for learners who have no available devices at home. And electronic copies and PDFs stored on a CD, DVD, or USB flash drive should be provided to learners with a laptop, desktop, computer, or any available digital device. Now, this modular distance learning is sufficient enough to ensure the accomplishment of the most essential learning competencies. Although students learn remotely or away from physical school classroom, the accomplishment or attainment of the most essential learning competencies should be the priority as well. Learners will also be provided with suggested time frame in accordance with his or her learning needs, characteristics, and level of understanding. Meaning to say, together with the provisions of modules to our students, Deadlines to be set of tasks should be congruent to the level of understanding, characteristics, and learning needs of our learners, since our learners are all diverse. Also, timely and appropriate monitoring and feedback for consultation and intervention purposes shall be put in place through various touch points, meaning, although learning in this mode is self-directed, teachers should still provide appropriate feedbacking and monitoring to students' progress. Since we cannot do this in a face-to-face manner, the alternative touch points this time are via text messaging or video calls or audio calls. The next one is what we call the online distance learning. When we say online distance learning, this refers to an individualized instruction where the teacher facilitates learning and engages learners' active participation using various technologies connected to the internet. In other words, this is the conduct of virtual class while teachers and learners are geographically remote from each other. Since teacher will facilitate the learning process through the use of technology or device, which is significantly connected to internet, therefore, the prerequisite material needed for this distance learning modality is a strong and stable internet connectivity. Online distance learning may be through a synchronous or asynchronous platform. With asynchronous, it means that online distancing learning is in real time. On the other note, asynchronous means an online distance learning that occurs through online channels without real-time interaction. In asynchronous as well, students are given opportunity to access information, demonstrate what they learned, and communicate with the classmates and instructors on their own time. They don't have to be in the same virtual classroom or even in the time zone to participate. To explain further the asynchronous platform, remember the webinars, virtual conferences, or live chats we have attended? These are some examples of synchronous. It is like a normal class, but in a virtual mode. On the other note, when we post learning materials online and allow students to access them and accomplish them at any time that's most favorable to them, that is more asynchronous. Whichever it is, synchronous or asynchronous, it always requires both teacher and learners to have good and stable internet connection. A class adopting online distance learning shall follow the regular planning standards in the organization of classes set by the Department of Education. It shall be applicable in schools where both the teachers and learners have access to digital devices such as laptops, tablets, smartphones, and desktops, computers with available online resources and internet connectivity. The learning resources to be used are, but not limited to the following: SLMs for alternative delivery modes, textbooks, primer lessons, activity sheets, teacher-made videos, and supplementary materials, and open education or educational resources. SLMS or SLMs and primer lessons shall be converted into different digital forms such as interactive lessons or electronic books, or what we call ebooks, and shall be available through the Department of Education Learning Resource Portal. There are also DepEd Recognized Learning Management System, or DepEd 2019, where we can upload our interactive lessons or electronic books. These are the Edmodo. This learning management system constitutes tools and resources to manage classrooms and engage students remotely, offering a variety of languages stay organized. And lastly, we have what we call the Schoology. This comprises tools to support instruction, learning, grading, collaboration, and assessment. The third distance learning modality is what we call the TV-based instruction or radio-based instruction, which refers to the use of television or radio programs on channels or stations dedicated to providing learning content to learners as a form of distance education. The lessons on this are converted to self-learning modules where the sequence of presentation is similar with what other learners use in online and modular distance learning. This may not be considered a sole learning delivery modality, as it usually combined with face-to-face learning or other forms of distance learning, such as modular distance learning or online distance learning modalities that were discussed a while ago. With the use of the TBBI or RBI, the parents or any member of the family is expected to scaffold learners for a meaningful learning experience. The last one is what we call the blended distance learning or BBL, or the any combination of the discussed distance learning types. We have what we call, or the combination can be modular distance learning plus online distance learning, modular distance learning plus TV-based or radio-based instruction, or online distance learning plus TV-based or radio-based instruction, or the combination of the three, the online distance learning plus TV-based or radio-based instruction and modular distance learning. And those are the different distance learning modalities. But the next question is, who or how can we be qualified to any of the discussed types of distance learning modalities? To answer that questions, allow me to present the non-negotiable minimum requirements for distance learning modalities. Note that the list of requirements is based on draft policy guidelines, which are still being finalized and are subject to change. Guidance contained in this document will be superseded by official policy issuance. The first requirement is for the online distance learning, or ODL. The requirements that must be available are the following. First, the school has educational platform or learning management system, or LMS, either subscription-based or locally developed. Also, the school has technical expertise to run and support the educational platform 24/7. Technical expertise can be in-house or outsourced or combination, depending on the nature of the deployment. The more in-house or locally developed is the hosted platform, the higher the degree of technical support personnel is required. The school has email facility or domain name for all teachers and users. Take note that the school can outsource as well. The next is the school has help desk personnel working under the platform managers whose main task will be to directly answer usage queries, both teachers and students. Also, the school has complete and appropriate content for Q1 in the platform. Also, together with the content, the school has proper assessment, example, quiz and exams available in the platform. The same assessment should be regularly reviewed and updated. The school has institutionalized the training and updating of teachers to be more technologically adept. Also, Teachers have access to device or devices and connectivity at the school. The learners have access to the necessary resources like device and internet connectivity to access the lessons. Lastly, the parents have expressed willingness for the option of online distance learning for their children. Here are the requirements that should be addressed by the school who plans to employ online distance learning, and these are to be addressed as soon as possible. First, teachers have access to device or devices and connectivity at the school. The learners have access to the necessary resources like device and internet connectivity to access the lessons. The parents as well should have expressed willingness for the option of online distance learning for their children. Now, what are the requirements for modular distance learning? For modular distance learning, it is being required that the school orients the teachers, parents, and learners about the modular learning policies and directions to ensure that everyone is properly informed and guided. The school has complete and appropriate content. These are learning modules or self-learning modules in print and electronic copy or e-copy for those with device. For quarter one available for distribution to learners. Also, the school has available reference or supplementary materials for distribution to the learners. It is also significant that the parents have expressed willingness for the option of modular distance learning for their children, and that parents are willing to co-supervise and co-monitor the progress of their children's modular distance learning. Now, for the TV-based instruction or radio-based instruction, or TVBI, RBI, the requirements are as follows. The school orients the teachers, parents, and learners about the TV or radio-based instruction policies and directions to ensure that everyone is properly informed and guided. Next, the school has memorandum of agreement or memorandum of understanding with a television network or radio station for the needed airtime slot. Also, the school has complete and appropriate content. These are the learning modules or self-learning modules in video format and radio-based lesson or radio script, as well as in print or electronic copy for quarter one. Not to forget also, the school have available reference or supplementary materials for distribution to the learners. Just like any other, the parents ensure children's access to television and radio. Moreover, the parents have expressed willingness for the option of TV or radio-based instruction for their children. Also, the parents are willing to co-supervise and co-monitor the progress of their children's learning, as well as provide guidance to their children. Now, for blended learning, the minimum requirements must be met for each of the types being combined. In other words, the requirements for the blended distance learning will depend to the combinations of the different distance learning modalities. Say, for example, if it is modular distance learning plus online distance learning, then therefore, the requirements to be complied are those under the former and the latter. And those are the different learning delivery modalities, distance learning modalities, and the requirements for the distance learning modalities. I hope that I have enlightened further our direction with this presentation. Thank you and have a lovely day.
Thank you so much, Sir Kirk, for that very comprehensive input on the learning delivery modalities. Now at this point, we will now have our open forum. So you may now throw your questions to all our speakers for clarifications and for more deeper inputs on the topic that you would like to be enlightened of. Paki-on lang po ng mga microphones ninyo if you would like to share or ask questions.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning po, Sister Cynthia.
Yeah,
Opo.
this is Sister Cynthia of St. Mary's College of Bansalan.
Good morning, Sister.
What I would like to share, this morning or to raise up is about the plight of the private schools nowadays. Perhaps you've heard already that many of our students transferred to the public schools. And then what I would like to ask from the perhaps school heads of the public schools nga, before they will accept the students, because siguro alam nyo yung about this educational service contracting, no? For the first time, the parents bringing their children here in our school, they had signed a contract that they will support their children up to grade 10, because we, the administrators, the principals, are accountable. This will bring a great impact if, say, we have 100, we were given 100 slots and only 50%, 80% ang makatapos until grade 10. So, para bang sasabihin kami na, maraming nag-umpisa, pero hindi man nyo napatapos, ano ba ang ginawa nyo? This ESC grant from the government, tulong ito ng mga parents na gustong mag-avail ng private or Catholic formation. No? So, ngayon, since the students, the parents, and even the administrators signed a contract, nga we all together na magawa ng paraan na makatapos, makalampos yun ang bata. Siguro, it is stated also in the contract nga, if in case a problem will prop up, no, for the fulfillment of this contract, we will be consulting each other. The parents will consult the school, and then kaming mga administrators nandito sa school, lalo na ngayon na pandemic, nagawa din kami ng mga strategies na matulungan namin ang mga parents, ang bata. Tapos ngayon, Manggod, I brought this up because one parent came, and to my surprise, nag-enroll na dito sa amin. Even na-cancel ko na ang card, nag-enroll din sa public school, tinanggap daw doon sa public school. And sa aming pag-uusap, may paglaom naman talaga, no? Hindi naman siguro habang buhay tayo pandemic. So, magawa naman talaga ng paraan kung mag-uusap lang. Pero yun bang, hindi man lang kami sister, madami naman doon na enroll. Sabi ko, nakapag-enroll din dito sa St. Mary's. Tapos na nag-enroll sister. Sana, I am just begging, I'm just asking na administrators in the public school will advise the parents to see also St. Mary's para mapag-usapan namin kung ano ang problema. Kung hindi naman talaga madala sa pag-uusap, then of course, no, we can allow. Pero ang iba, hindi financial problem, no? We are our best na in spite nga pandemic tayo, magkaroon tayo ng distance learning, we are also trying our best nga na the quality of education will not suffer. O, yun lang siguro. Maraming salamat po.
Yes, sister. If please correct me if I am wrong, if I was not able to get the gist of your concern. Yung concern po ninyo is about transfer of your students to public schools, and that your request is before acceptance sa public school, pwede ba na makipag-coordinate muna sa school ninyo for any financial concerns or clearance?
Okay po. Okay po. Oh, ganyan lang. Yung mag-usap na lang kami. Kaya sa umpisa, napag-usapan naman talaga namin na to kung ano man ang ano, they came and they are willing to abide the rules and regulations of the school, and then to even pay the extra, no, the extra fees of the school. Yeah, ug may problema lang nga, we will be consulting each other. We will consult the parents kung may problema sa party silang mga anak, and then the parents also will consult the school. Hindi kay mag-text na lang sa akin, sister, pwede ba i-out sa LMS o sa LIS, itag, the term is tagging. Ko, what is tagging? O ma-blind ba kami dito? What is tagging? Then sa umpisa, nandito, nag-uusap kami ng todo dito, no? Yung sitwasyon sa private schools, lahat ay binibigay sa parents. And then all of a sudden, bigla na lang ipatag si so and so. I also responded na the in charge of that school na kindly ask kung nakipagkonsulta na ba dito sa office namin. O mag-usap, maganda kay sa umpisa nag-usapan. So sa kung mag-transfer na, pag-usapan din kay problema na ito eh. Ito ang ginapirmahan dito sa contract nga kung may problema man, we'll bring this one open the table. Okay, thank you. O tama yung naano mo, Mr. Dumagan.
Opo. Yes, sister. Before any further, before giving additional answers to your queries, sister, I would like to ask Madam Ami Coral muna to explain the process on the tagging for the LIS, since siya po yung planning officer natin, and what's the process of the LIS from one school to another school. Madam Ami?
Hello, good morning everyone.
Morning.
Good morning Sister Cynthia.
Good
Regarding
morning.
your concern po, nagpa-enroll po yung learners sa inyo.
Opo, niya.
Tapos po, naka-decide yung parent na mag-transfer sa public school. So nag-fill up sila ng LESF doon sa public school. So since transfer siya doon sa public school, nag-request yung public school na ipatag sa inyong sa LIS, since yung tagging po is from the record sa SY 20. Doon kasi yung tagging sa LRS enrollment ng SY 2019-2020. Kaya po nag-request yung public school sa inyo. So about that po, yung dapat mag-usap kayo ng parents siguro, sister, kasi sila po yung nakapag-decide na magpa-enroll sa public school.
Opo. Yan lang. I'm asking the administrator concerned sa kabilang school, mag-usap pa, nakapag-usap na ba kayo doon? Na meron yung signan yung honorable dismissal before ba nga magpunta doon sa ibang school, merong signan talaga dito.
So as of now po kasi, sister, yung mga school records po, yung requirements po is extended po siya hanggang December 31. So pwede pong magpa-enroll yung learner kahit wala pong dalang documents po.
Ganun.
That is listed in the DepEd order. Nasa DepEd order po yun.
Oo, pero ang sa akin lang na meron din silang dito, meron din kami pinag-usapan dito. Iyon man lang ang sa akin na magpaalaman lang dito, no? Parang pag-usapan namin kung ano mang problema. I know nga, hindi naman talaga natin na we cannot refuse or we cannot pigil. Pero dahil may pinag-usapan kami sa umpisa kung unsay mga problema, ipaalam lang sa amin, magpaalam lang sa amin kung sakasakali man.
Yes po, sister. So, sa concern po ninyo, sister, siguro yung parent po dapat ang kausapin po. Hindi po siguro yung school head po na tumanggap ng learner.
Siguro pwede din sila makatulong na para bang makaalam ko lang, pwede sila makatulong na bago nila tanggapin.
That's why po nakinontak po kayo for the tagging, sister. By that time po may coordination na po yung public school sa inyo.
Diretso na.
Parang,
Akala
yes
ko,
po.
before ma-accept, before mag-enroll, sabi man lang nga, na ano na ba, alam na ba nito na nandito kayo? Baka pwede yan, no?
Yes, sister. This is Lopez. So the request is really valid, and we in the school, if the PDS is around, meron tayong public schools district supervisor, wherein under niya ang mga schools natin sa Bansalan, then yung request ni sister talagang valid yon, at saka pwede rin gagawin natin talaga na will advise natin ng mga school head na i-advise na itong parent na pumunta sa ating mga paaralan to at least man lang yung mag-inform talaga, lalo na itong EEC grantees, kasi ito sila counted ito, no, na mga scholars man ito, mga scholars ng school, they are counted, at saka may responsibility talaga ang bawat isa, ang grantee at saka ang school. So therefore, dapat maunawaan sa parent na may pinirmahan sila, kaya valid ang request ni sister na dapat pag-usapan talaga. At saka yung school head natin may part to really advise the parent na mag-request man lang, mag-inform sa school. Yes, sister, noted yung yung request.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lopez.
Yes, welcome, Doc.
Thank you so much, Sister Cleano. To Sir Nelson, thank you also, and to Madam Ami. Next question po. Anyone? May plano na po kayo on how you are going to distribute your modules? If you have queries about Project Hatud, either Dr. Mario Mundihar or Dr. Clarence Pilirin can answer your questions on that if you would like to ask about the process.
Okay, may I say something again? Good morning again.
Sure.
Good morning again.
Proceed po.
Okay. With regards to your query, kung may plano na kami, yes. I have a plan already, but to orient the teachers, the parents,
it's 11 o'clock.
and the students. Nasa school calendar na namin.
Okay.
Tapos yung Project Hatud, baka hindi pa kami dili kami gano'n na project ihatid sa kanilang barangay. Because during enrollment, in the enrollment form, we let the parents na fill up. There is a part there nga they will fill up nga sino makapunta pa kayo dito sa school, sa ninyo gustong ihatod ang kukunin ang module, ang papers, at saka pag-retrieve. Tapos sino ang magkuha. We really clarified na hindi ang bata magkuha. It would be the adult or the parents. So meron na kami kuha na. Pero nagpasalamat din ako kay may nakuha din ako sa sa meeting na ito, yung tungkol sa disinfecting, no? So I got the idea ng table. We had that plan already ka pag-provide kami ng plastic envelope, expanded plastic envelope na ilagay yung mga modules, tapos yung mga retrieved accomplished modules. So mga dalawang plastic envelopes nga parang pagdating exchange na lang. So our plan here is parents will come only once a week, no? Once a week paghatid, pagdala sila ng accomplished modules, and then we'll give the module for the next week. This is also weekly. Ganon, mag-exchange. Akala ko, ganon lang, no? Mag-exchange. Anong nadagdag sa kaalaman ko ngayon na i-stay muna ang mga modules for 4 hours, no? So perhaps we'll be providing a big table where we can place all the modules there. Tapos 4 hours muna. Tapos paligiran ng ano, no? Plastic naman siya. Pwede na siya na mag-sprinkle ng ngayon yung mga disinfectants na mga alcohol or kana ano ba yung solution na for disinfectation. So ingon ana, so thank you very much for this meeting.
Yes, sister. Schools are actually given leeway for mechanisms, or how are you going to deal with the distribution and retrieval of the materials or the module, sister. May choices kayo kung paano ninyo siya gagawin, basta as long as mo-adhere lang po tayo doon sa minimum health standards na sinet ng IATF, ng DOH at saka ng Office of the President. Opo. Thank you so much for expressing your plans for St. Mary, sister, so that others would also be able to know your plans and they might be able to do benchmarking on that also. Sige, next question. Clarifications. Yes, Sister Cherry.
Good morning. May I know if the schools will be informed whenever the monitoring for the health protocol will be done in our school?
Yes, sister. Doc Christine?
For now po, ma'am, we're still planning on the schedule po because we still have other schools na not prepared, but we will inform for the monitoring. And we will also give the list of the monitoring tool po in advance so that you can see ano po ang kailangan i-prepare.
Thank you, Doc, and thank you, sir. And then I have another question. This is with regards to DepEd Order number 17. With the requirements, shall we submit it to the division office?
Yung order number 17, sister, regarding the learning continuity plan, school calendar, and the school plan for the minimum health standards, yun po yung...
readiness assessment checklist for delivering the modalities in learning continuity plan for private schools. This is the of the DepEd order number 13. So there was another last July 17. There is another DepEd order which gives us the additional requirements for the document. Is it to be submitted to your office?
Yes, sister. Please note po na yung DO13, naka-put on hold po siya, yung readiness assessment tool na supposedly ipa-implement for the private schools. But there is an issuance of DepEd Order number 17 naman po na i-put on hold muna siya, and then yung ipapasa po ng mga private schools is the learning continuity plan, yung new school calendar po ninyo covering the school year, and the school plan to the school plan for the minimum health standards na
there are three documents only to be submitted, but then on the other documents will be submitted on December 29.
Yes, sister. Yung first three na nabanggit po kanina, yun po yung hahanapin ng taga-regional office. So, kailangan nyo po siyang i-produce, submit nyo po sa office para magawa ni Dr. Asan ng certification at endorsement to the regional office.
Okay. Because, just want to clarify, because this document says there are certifications. Who gives the certification?
It's the division office po, sister.
Certification that the school, okay.
Opo.
Yes, thank you, sir.
Yes, si division office na po ang in charge po for the certifications na hihingin ng region.
We just submit the document.
Yes. All you have to do, sister, is those three documents to the division office para magawa ng certification. Salamat, sister. Other questions po from other schools? Huwag po kayong mahiyang magtanong.
Right, try to check daw. Try to check from Iris Modulin. May ano siya sa chat box.
Yes, sir. Hindi ko siya nakita. Okay, from Ma'am Iris. Will I be acknowledged, sir, if I am here because I don't have a video with my computer? Actually, Ma'am Iris, wala po kayong video at saka walang audio. So, I was not able to notice that one also ngayon lang. Clarification and confirmation lang po, will there be an absolute face-to-face for students even in the assessment of modules? Wala po tayong face-to-face na gagawin for giving of instructions. Pero si teacher po, pwede po siyang gumawa or pwede po niyang i-home visit yung mga pupils na kinakailangan ng intervention. Na-mention kanina ni Dr. Kirk na may mga different touch points po tayo paano natin i-deliver yung instructions from the module. So pwede niyo pong tawagan yung parents through phone call or through messaging ng Facebook or lahat ng means na pwede ninyong gawin or gamitin para ma-bridge ninyo yung instruction at para ma-deliver ninyo yung remediation for your students or pupils na nangangailangan ng remediation. Kung medyo nahihirapan, bigyan po natin ng remediation. Kung medyo nakuha na po ng mga mag-aaral yung topics, bigyan din po natin ng enrichments. Pero definitely po, wala po tayong face-to-face na instruction, mode of delivery ng instruction.
Yes, Bobert.
Yes,
excuse me if I may. Can we let our CID explain that?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Ma'am Cometa. Addendum sa explanation ni Bobert, CID, regarding the face-to-face, even in the assessment of modules. What does it mean of the assessment of modules? Ma'am Che, wala kang sounds. Wait, naka-mute siya. Okay.
May
learning, siguro assessment of learning.
Okay, I heard.
Bert?
Yes.
May clarification dito. Please explain to Ma'am Cometa. The CID should be the one to explain that.
What is it? What's all about? Assessment?
Di ka madungog, Bert. Di ka madungog.
Hello?
Ayan, yan.
There, first,
May audio, Bert, parang may audio na nag-feedback. Okay, wala na. Yan, mag-feedback siya, kaya putol-putol.
What is the question, Sir Bobert?
Absolutely face-to-face daw may
Putol-putol talaga. Basa na lang sa chat box from Iris Madulin. Ma'am Che, nasa chat box po.
Ibig sabihin, Iris, ito ba si I'll acknowledge verification and confirmation lang po. Will there be an absolute no face-to-face for students even in the assessment of mood?
No face-to-face.
Ano bang dapat gawin?
In Moodle, there are already assessment there, activities there.
Ang mahina. Sir Mar, mahina. Ma'am Che, mahina audio mo.
The will be included in the be brought to the student inside the folder.
So, ano kaya ibig sabihin ng assessment of modules sa ano ni Ma'am Iris dito? Will it be yung checking of modules or the output of the students or ano ito?
Hindi talaga marinig, Bobert. Hindi talaga marinig.
Bubert, ano Bubert?
Sige, basahin na lang natin yung sabi ni Ma'am Madulin. Thank you po. I mean, test po of how far they have learned from the lessons.
Okay.
Provided. Yung parang gano'n.
Method learning.
After the checking of upon retrieval of their modules, Ma'am Che, ano daw gagawin ng guro? Ano daw gagawin ng guro to check whether or not gaano na kalayo o ano na natutunan ng mga bata?
Natutunan ng mga bata from the module.
From the modules.
Yeah, there is on the next delivery, then the comments of the teacher. On the next delivery.
So definitely no face-to-face. Ma'am Iris, definitely no face-to-face.
No face-to-face.
There are comments. There are comments or feedback on the progress of the students. It should be course through pa rin to the parents as well as through communication devices if there's any. Definitely no face-to-face.
Okay. Bobert, nakamute ka, Bobert. Nakamute ka, Bobert. Okay.
Nasa office si Bobert?
Ano ba nangyari? Parang hindi
wala.
Putol-putol talaga. Putol-putol. Sino ba ang may parang nag-feedback? Saan yan galing?
Hello?
Okay na po. Okay na po.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay. Another question from St. Benedict College of Southeast Asia. I would like to ask if we, the teaching staff of this institution, is still required to make our lesson plan considering we have prepared our modules. Thank you po. Madam Che? Madam Inday, naka-mute po yung microphone, Madam.
Okay.
Yes, Madam. Clear.
Okay, you would like to answer? Okay, regarding lesson plan, in the public school, it's stated here in the memorandum DMCI, the one signed by Sir Diosdado Antonio. We have here teachers are required to have their weekly learning plan, of which tantamount to DLN. Nakalagay na doon yung mga lessons nila for the day, for the week. Itong nabinigay sa atin dito, sa weekly learning plan nila, each subject is given specific time. And it shows here that 1 week lang, one lesson per 1 hour in a week. So once a week lang mag-klase sa kanilang lesson. It's in Appendix E. I hope you have already the copy of the... So, Sir Robert, meron na silang kopya, no?
We will provide them, Madam.
Okay. Andun sa Appendix E, ang weekly home learning plan na dapat gagawin ng guro. It's tantamount to the DLL. Sa memorandum kasi, wala nakasulat dito, wala ding ano dito na pwedeng gamitin o hindi ng private school. Private school has the option to use the same template, the weekly home learning plan, which will serve as the DLL of our teachers. Pag natanggap nyo yun, sir, nasa Appendix E. At meron din doon ang learners, parang assessment, individual learning monitoring plan. Meron ding individual learning monitoring plan na nakapaloob doon sa memorandum. That will be the basis of our teachers on the learning progress of our students. Kung sino yung nangangailangan ng tulong talaga, gagawan sila ng individual learning monitoring plan. Kung anong intervention ang gagamitin natin. So, upon receipt of the 32 pages memorandum, andun yung mga appendices doon. So, you are given the liberty to use or not the template that our public schools are using. Baka kasi meron din kayong sarili ninyo. But we are encouraging you to use this para mapadali lang sila. I hope I answered the question, Sir Gobert.
Yes, Madam. In addition also, Madam, to that week plan ng teachers, may question po kasi si Little Joseph na pwede po ba yung visitation once in a week? Kung gagawa po kayo ng home visitation, pwede nyo po yung gawin. Yung data na makuha ninyo for the home visitation would be the basis for the adjustment of your weekly plan. Pwede nyo pong i-adjust yung weekly plan based doon sa progress ng learners. So it doesn't mean na yung weekly plan, yun talaga yung masunod for the entire week. You can actually make adjustments with the weekly plan also. And
no, Bobert. No, excuse me, Bobert. Excuse me, no. Kasi ang weekly plan natin, naka-template na yung subject arrangement and the activities to be undertaken.
Yes, Madam.
Then, yung individual learning monitoring plan, doon yung magkakaroon ng adjustment. Kasi meron mang monitoring plan.
Madam.
Monitoring plan. Individuals learning monitoring plan.
Para ma-adjust yung ibang competencies na hindi pa na-master ng mga students. Opo.
That will be a week after.
Yes, Madam. After a week. And din po, kinakailangan din i-communicate ni teachers sa parents in order for the parents to have the guide kung paano po nila i-employ ang mga modules papunta sa mga students nila or pupils nila. Kaya kailangan talaga gumawa ni teacher ng weekly plan.
Andun na sa ano yan? Andun na yan sa ano? And we also would like to encourage our private schools to have a copy of the calendar or the schedule of activities or the class program of the other modalities like the radio-based instruction and the offline, because that will form part of their weekly plan also. If they want to avail of the other medium of instruction na gagamitin ng ano. So that is in support to enhancing enhancement activities of the lesson.
Yes, thank you, Madam. Those schools who are asking for the soft copy of the presentations today, we will provide them to you, including the guidelines for the week plan. May sample po doon kung paano niyo gagawin yung week plan. May suggested timeline din for every subject so that magawa po ninyo, if in case i-adapt ninyo yung week plan na suggested ng DepEd. Okay po? Sige
po. Another question. Bobert, can we this is for all, no? Can we use the same grading system for this new mode of delivery?
Hello?
Yes po, ma'am.
Ma'am Che, you want to answer assessment, the grading system? Ma'am Che? update from your on the grading system.
Yes, a little. You can be heard. Good morning po.
Medyo ang volume.
Ma'am Che, mahina ang ano mo.
Masyado mahina.
Mahina ang ano mo.
Hello?
Hello. Sila kasi nag-meeting with the CLMD and the central office, yung mga CID chief regarding that matter, sister. So I think it is just proper that she should be the one to give us the Ma'am Che, I cannot hear you talaga.
Can you hear me? Hello?
O, sige.
Sige po.
As of now, we have the template on the grading system, and we had comments on it, and we will forward it to the central office. As of now, we haven't received yet the response or the final. So we will just wait, sister.
Oh, okay. If I may share about our modules here, we follow the 70, 20, and 10. 70% of our module is for the students to indulge, no? To engage many activities, no? And then the 20% is for collaboration, no? Collaboration among the members of the families, among themselves, through texting or through other means of communication, this technology. Then the 10% is the input. So we decided that we will still follow the this grading system that say 30% is the written works, then 50% is the performance task, and then 20% is the quarterly exam. And the teachers will be the one to identify which of these activities will be considered as the written works and which of the activities will be considered as the performance task. And of course, we have still quarterly exams. Siguro, a question also from my mind whether we can have summative face-to-face quarterly exam. Talagang no.
No.
As of now, no, sister. No face.
Sige. Okay. But siguro we can have that through the LMS.
You can.
Sige po. Thank you.
Sir? At question is...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Pastor Alexis?
Yes, sir. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Pastor.
Ang amo gina-offer, sir, is a kindergarten only. And then, our parents nag-suggest na ang among teacher mo adto dito sa ilahang balay to deliver the learning sa among mga students. Kay dili bang gud nila di masultuhan sa ilang mga bata, ang mga parents. So mo nang dilema nila karon. So they suggest na ang teacher na mo adto dito sa ilahang balay. Is that okay, sir?
No, sir. Hello, sir. Good morning po.
Good morning, ma'am.
If you are to ask us, since we are not in the proper authority to declare whether or not it's safe to go there, it's safe for the parents as well as for the teachers to be in their school, that would be a no. But then it would be dependent on the IATF of your municipality, of your locality. But I'm pretty sure they would not also agree about it. So we should find, yan din ang dilemma namin, sir, so only kinder to grade 3. That's universal or national dilemma nowadays. Paano yung kinder to grade 3, of which we really believe that they need an adult who would be with them in their learning, and we are really sure that our parents cannot really give them cannot really give technical assistance to them 100%. Kahit may capacity, sir, kahit may capacity pa sila, but we know pretty well na sila din nanganibuhi po na po sila yung mga trabaho. So, hindi sila tutok. So, that's why be an open line communication. Yung instruction namin sa aming public school teachers, sir, there should be an open line communication na dapat masagot kaagad ng mga guro kung ano yung ano ng mga bata. So as much as possible, iniiwasan namin magkaroon ng face-to-face encounter ang teacher at saka ang mga bata. Sa parents siguro, yes. At saka sir, sinusuportahan din namin yan ng mga yung sa radio base. Na come August 24, maririnig ninyo, mostly of the lessons being aired in radios are for kindergarten and kindergarten to grade 3. Kasi yan talaga yung problema talaga natin ngayon. So siguro sir, depende na siya kung itugot sa inyong munisipyo, pero I'm pretty sure dili po yun na itugot sir nga, magsigi frequent ang pag-adto sa mga maestra. Kung naamang galing, ginikanan ang tudluan, ginikanan ang i-capacitate.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Hindi ako
Yes.
Sir Bobert, Sir Bo.
Yes, madam. We also have question intended for senior high school. Regarding TVL program, wala pong face-to-face contact mostly. Paano daw po yung performance-based na competencies?
Ma'am Che? Hindi na lang marinig si Ma'am Che.
Ma'am Che, nakamute yung...
Kuan na tong kuan niya. Kaning kuan.
On TVL?
Yes, madam. TVL.
On TVL, on the first quarter, it will be theory first, all theories. Hello, Wilbert.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, madam.
On the first quarter, our lesson on the first quarter is more theory, no practical application.
And besides, Ma'am Che, an addendum to that, we are also awaiting for the release of the memorandum intended for the immersion and practical ano natin. Wala pa, pina-feedback din nyo sa amin dito, sir. Pina-comment din, binalik na din ng region sa central office, awaiting for the finalization coming from the central office. Siguro in time na mag-practical na sila, meron na tayong order. Pero for now, sabi nga ni CID Chief, ano pa tayo? Theory pa tayo lahat. Sir, sino rin nagtanong nun, Bert?
From, ano yun siya, madam? From Kubun Bakaka.
Okay.
And then,
Ma'am Cheryl.
Up question, CSBC Test the Focal. If they are required to submit the weekly plan to the division office.
Division office? Are we requiring them to submit? Wala man tayo nag-require niyan. Ma'am Che, wala.
Parang wala. Wala daw, madam. So, don't need to submit your weekly plan to the division office po. I think sa school level lang po ninyo yan, sa school head ninyo.
Yes.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, next question po. Browse ko muna, baka may mga questions na gi-raise.
Yeah.
At chat.
Please. Yeah, baka meron pa nga.
Oo. I think wala na siguro dito sa chat box.
Baka meron pang magtanong dyan.
Concerns about the minimum health standards, okay na po kayo doon? Maliwanag na po sa inyo?
Opo.
Thank you so much, sister, for the affirmation. I hope other schools are also clear with the guidelines discussed by our medical officer.
Sir Mario. Sir Mario. Hi, Sir Mar. Nawala na si Sir Mar Bobert. Are private schools included in the monitoring of our health personnel?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes,
Didonyo.
Sir Mar.
Ay, yeah,
Are private
according.
schools,
Yes, ma'am. We actually plan to have them monitored, but we still have to plot our schedule because we are still on the process of monitoring the schools who are not yet ready. But fortunately, we have a lot of nurses, and maybe another team will be going to the private
yes.
schools.
Yeah.
But we have to plan it out and then inform them, and we will give them the monitoring tool for them to know and for them to prepare before the monitoring.
Okay,
Yan
thank
po
you,
ang
sir.
kinakailangan. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
This is not in preparation of the face-to-face, but and only by next year. But for first and foremost by our personnel and our parents who will be visiting our schools
Yes.
anytime.
Yes, po. Okay.
A question from Sir Irvin Mirabueno of SPAC. How about PTA meetings? Okay lang ba na sa school?
If you are to look into the IATF, the protocols of the MGCQ man tayo, no? We are allowed provided that it's only 50% of the capacity of the 20 lang ba yun, Mario, no? 20 lang ang dapat na sa ano. Ang ginawa,
Sa venue,
sir,
sa area.
ang ginawa ng mga schools namin dito, sir, this scheduled by grade. Only very few ang allowed talaga, with the stringent observance of the physical distancing, hand washing, and and the mask. Pwede man, sir, for as long as less than 50%, 50% ba yun? 20 lang ba yun, Sir Mar, ang mga tao dapat?
50% po. Pero kung pwede, less than 50% para ma-assure natin na pinaka.
Kasi especially if isang ano lang, yung isang entrance, isang exit, you know, dapat isang entrance, different an entrance and exit. Yan ang mga consider natin.
Ano nila ang venue, kung open court siya, so dapat kailangan ma-organize talaga kung saan mag-i-entrance at saan mag-i-exit.
Okay. And we encourage them to use an open venue.
Yes. Mas mabuti yung open venue. Mas okay.
Not the air-conditioned one.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Maybe clarified na, is it necessary na for every comfort room lagyan ng foot bath or pwede lang sa entrance na? Thank you.
For the foot bath po, ma'am, ano lang po siya, ma'am, sa functional rooms. So like the faculty rooms, sa toilet, okay lang po, wala. So sa faculty rooms, principal's office, yung mga parating pinapasukan po ng mga personnel.
Okay, thank you. Clarified.
Thank you, sister. Another question for assessment. For example, mag-monthly exam ang bata, unsaon na mo pagpa-exam sa ilaha. If ipadala ang monthly exam, walay assurance na sila dyan ang nag-answer.
So po yan.
Ma'am Che. Ma'am Che. AD. Ma'am Che.
Baka ma-perfect.
Yeah. Ma'am Che.
Teka, Ma'am Che, di ka marinig. Ma'am Che, di ka marinig. Ang audio mo, audio.
Phone, paki-unplug sa madam.
Welcome to the new normal.
No, not clear pa. Baka sa electric fan, yung hangin sa electric fan, baka yun ang
am I clear now?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
Opo.
In the monthly assessment, we have to face the fact that talaga hindi natin alam kung so truth na wala tayong magawa kasi hindi pwede face to face.
Trust is the key.
Sabi ng
kahit po modified yung 20 lang in a classroom. Kahit
be allowed to school, it's a big no.
okay. Okay po.
Hello?
Madam, Jo.
Okay na, okay na.
Madam.
Yeah. Assessment should be sent to the students, not the students to come to the school. And we are very sure, and we're very sure that we can be assured that it is really the student who will answer the questions. That's the new normal now.
That's why, sister, during our orientation of our parents, we really stress that yan ang yung nangyayari and we trust them. I keep on telling them nga, kung tudluan ninyo inyong mga anak sa ilahang test, mura ra ninyo sila gihiluan. Mura ninyo sila gi-poison. Gipakaon niyo sa gilo kay kabalo man gyud mo nga dili sila ang nagtrabaho. Mo na among video yan orientation namo sa mga ginikanan 2 weeks ago, wala mong distress. Kaya kabalo, I keep on telling them, I know nga dili ninyo paimnon og hilo inyong mga anak. Kung tudluan ninyo sila sa answer, it's just tantamount nga inyo silang gipainom og hilo. Of which, according to ano po sila, ni amin po sila bitaw, ma'am. So, we keep on reminding them, and I constant reminder na sa mga ginikanan nga, we want to see the truth. Kaya gusto niyo makatun ninyong mga anak, kaya we are not after of the honor here. Ang importante ani karon makatun ng mga bata. Nga ilahag yung tinud-anay. Wala mong giano, which luckily naman with God's grace, niuyon na po ang mga So again, if they will be doing it anyway, ilahamang talag ang ilang gikambyo. Pati mo, old sister. Muna po na ang explanation sa ilaha.
Sige po. Sige, we'll find ways na lang.
Yeah.
Moral obligation na po yun ng mga parents, sister.
Yeah.
Sige, thank you.
Ng mga parents. Opo. Sige, thank you so much. More questions po? Sean? Ano pa po regarding sa school? At least marinig po ng mga district heads natin saka ng mga chief education supervisor natin. Wala na? Wala na.
Marami pong salamat, especially yung pagsagot sa first una kong gi-ask na magpaalam mo na sa amin, magpunta mo na sa office bago mag-transfer sa public school.
Yes.
Marami pong salamat, especially to Mr. Nelson Lopez.
We will give instructions din po sa school heads namin, sister, regarding your concern.
Sige po, maraming pong salamat.
Welcome, sister.
Do we have some more questions? If wala na po, we will have our picture taking before we will have our closing prayer. Wala na? Requesting everyone to please turn on your camera para po makita tayo. Ayan. Camera kung isali yung phone. Okay. Please. 1, 2, smile. Ayan. Next frame.
Hello, Arlene. Tapang. May pupil.
Next frame. Okay, again, participants whose cameras are on, please turn them on para po sa pictorial natin. Ayan. Sige, one more. Okay. Next frame. And the last frame. Thank you so much, everyone. Again, please turn off your microphones. We will now have our closing prayer to be given to us by Pastor Alexis Pareño, School Principal of FBC Christian Kindergarten School of Padada Incorporated.
Thank you everyone for giving this time na naka-orientation kita sa BELCP and LDM. Thank you, sir. Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir. So, may I request everyone to please bow our head. Let us pray. Our Heavenly Father, thank you for giving us the opportunity to learn many things in this orientation. Thank you, Lord, for our facilitators na naging successful ning meeting. And Lord, I pray for this situation na karon Ginoo pag adjust and adopt the new normal learning. So Father, I pray that help us from our department, national down to regional divisions and to district. Keep us safe, Lord, for this virus. And even our teachers and children, Father, I pray that you keep us safe, dear God. And even the non-teaching and teaching personnel and parents, dear God, Father. Lord, thank you very much. Ikaw yun nag-hatag ka na Ginoo ining sitwasyon because I know na nakay message ani Ginoo, nakay purpose na strengthen namo Ginoo ang among relationship. So Father, bless each one of us as we face this new normal, and thank you very much, Father in heaven, for answering our prayer. As we ask in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you so much, Pastor Alexis, for that closing prayer. Thank you to our SDS, Sir Nelson Lopez, CESO 5, to Madam Inday Diduyo, our OICA SDS, for the time and for giving us the necessary inputs. To Madam Che Cometa of the CID, to Dr. Mario Mondihar from the SGOD, to Doc Clarence Pilirin, to Madam Ami, to Doc Christine, to Kurt, to our school administrator from St. John Marie Vianney, Ma'am Jacqueline Rose Dumbab, and to Pastor Alexis. And to all of us who are present today, thank you so much. I am going to provide you the link for our recorded virtual conference this morning, and I am going to send it via our messenger so that you may view them and replay them if you wanted to go back to salient points discussed to the salient points discussed earlier this morning. So just wait for the link po. I-upload ko lang po siya sa GC natin. Again, to all of us, thank you very much and have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Robert, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations.
Bye, everyone.
Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Salamat, Sir Robert.
Thank you.
Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, Sir Robert. Thank you. God bless po. God bless.
I am now going to end the conference. Again, thank you everyone. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye.